Let's see here. Okay, I don't know if we're live. If first time doing this, but if someone can confirm, throw it in the comments down below. Hello and welcome back to Game Vitamins. My name is Nick, and today is our first ever live stream. I'm gonna probably treat this a little bit like a video. I have the laptop set up. I've got some of the comments, okay? People can hear and see. I think the internet is set up right. I was mentioning to some patrons earlier that the network a little bit funky in this space, but essentially for today's video, I just wanted to go through some of this Modern Horizons 3. I have 4 cases here, as well as some of these single boxes. I've already opened up a lot of them. So I figured I'd start making a bigger dent in this because realistically, stuff is just, I can't see it behind this wall of product, but stuff's thinning out in terms of what I've gone through, so I just need to get some more singles into the inventory. So yeah, it looks like someone says a little choppy. So again, just keep me informed. If this gets really rough at any point, then I might temporarily pause and relocate. I'd like this to be able to work, but the hardwired connection just doesn't quite seem to be working. So we'll see. But without further ado, this is just going to be a bit of a Q&A hangout. I'm just going to do exactly what I always do when I go through inventory. Unfortunately, it'll be a little quiet for me this time because I can't be playing music or other YouTube videos due to copyright and whatnot. But, you know, what can you do? Hopefully, we can get some discussion going. I can just chit-chat and kind of go from there. So I'm going to probably just start by going into some of this. You know, I already realized I forgot my knife. So yeah, that's good. I might as well grab a key or something because I'm gonna have to, can I use this wall plug? Let's see on the first one if I can slide that in. Oh yeah, okay. Unconventional opening method, but here we go. So I'm using my AirPods as well because I wanted to utilize this table just because there's so much more room on it than where I usually record my videos. So again, if the audio is weird, if anything's odd, just let me know. Hopefully you guys are all doing similar thing, just sorting through some cards and trying to get those inventory numbers up, because all I can say is right now I have a pending RI for over 3,000 cards. And that is going to be a bit of a disaster to pack up. Honestly, the change in the way that they do their RIs already, I don't know how big of a fan I am of that. I don't really want to be doing several thousand cards at a time, but you know, that is unfortunately how it goes sometimes. Let me get organized here a little bit. So I'll just kind of go through what I do as I do it. I'm going to start just before I get into the flow of it all here, creating my sort of deposit piles. Turn it around real quick. Essentially, I use these trays and go through from, you know, non-foil, common through mythic, and then any sort of like special guest cards or anything like that will go in here. And then foiled commons, uncommons, rares, mythics, and likewise, I just separate out all the foils and all of the non-foils because when I run it through the fizz batch, it's a lot easier that way because I don't really rely the foil detection or trust the foil detection at all. So I don't want to rely on that. I separate out basic lands, full art lands, foil of each of them. So sometimes it gets a little bit crowded, but once I kind of get into the flow of it, then I just rip right through them and just place them in the right spots, because honestly, once you start doing a lot of these, it's, as you guys probably know, it becomes a bit of a nightmare in terms of just how many cards you have to go through. I might even grab my scissors a little bit later, but for now I'll start with chucking stuff on the ground and popping things into here. So let's see, I want to click through, make sure stuff's coming in. Yeah, Troy, MH3 is super liquid. So much of it sells that. Foundations has been insane in terms of the sell-through. even with my commons, uncommons, it's been just phenomenal to see like how many sales turn over there. But the problem is, oh, there we go. Oh, Mythic Quorum sucks. I hate seeing Quorum pop up. But yeah, the sell-through on those two sets has been great. I put on those 30 whatever boxes or 20 something boxes of foundations, and it's just selling like hotcakes. So not too mad about that. Yeah, see, I need to get my initial piles going before I can really get into the flow here, else I just keep looking around. And Mike, yes, this is just to simplify feeding into the fizz batch, because realistically, like it's pretty automated, but when I start, I want the high value cards getting uploaded first. So since I'm doing that, I want to continue to separate out the commons and uncommons. So then when I have more time, I'll go back and run through maybe the full art lands and run through the commons and uncommons and do that kind of last, because you need to do this in waves or else it just becomes incredibly daunting. I won't be able to do all of this tonight. Realistically, again, I just wanted to have a little spot where we could sit down, chat, and go through some of this stuff and pretty much just get it ready for sorting. I might show you guys a little later on, so if you want to come and go, do whatever. I haven't, again, ever live streamed, so I don't really know if people just chill or if they might have something to do. Feel free to peace out. I'll probably be on here for quite a while. I want to make a good dent here, and then I'll bring us over to the fizz batch a little bit later on, and we can start to bring you through like how I sort through them and whatnot. I think that'd be kind of cool. But honestly, since I set all this up, I just don't want to immediately jump over there, because given my typical interests, that's I'd love to just bop around, as you know from my videos. I'll oh wait, who said that these are actually worth something? Apparently these are worth something, right? I think I threw away like 100 of these. I know I am the proponent for always scan everything. I just did not think that these would actually be worth like 20 cents or something like that. I don't know. I'll keep them now. I'll check. But Rip and Fit by Moonshot, thank you very much on good luck for the polls. We'll see what we get. I haven't even announced anything. I'd like to do like a top-down thing at some point, but realistically, this video is like kind of more of a Q&A than a Q&A. Yeah, it's kind of more of a Q&A than a like path ripping video. I'm just not. I don't have the full setup. I probably need to get another camera to do it the correct way. Honestly, maybe I can take some tips from you, since it's more up your alley. Let's see. There's Z, same with the arts. Yeah, I might definitely gonna try uploading those and see if they sell. Someone commented on that in the Patreon and showed that like a few thousand had sold within like the past month. I was like, really? Who buys those? Oh, Tamio Inquisitive Student foil. There we go. Can you guys see that? That's a pretty good pull, right? Tamio's still worth a good chunk, I believe. I honestly haven't seen a Tamio in quite a while coming out of this, considering I have 31 boxes here. This is why I will probably not rip them all by hand here soon. Probably just start cutting into them. But they, I already opened probably another 10 or 2 cases or something pretty recently, and I haven't seen Tamio. So welcome back. Okay, I gotta already get organized here. We're gonna throw art cards over here, tokens. I'll just leave those in with the tokens. Full art lands, I've actually started listing on TCGPlayer a little bit more. They sell pretty well, so I figure kind of worth it right now just to continue to keep the liquidity going. So I want to do obviously the full art packs and everything, but since I don't have like a ton of individual sets for each full art land, it's a lot easier to do like kind of grab bag basics versus uncommons there. The basic lots versus all full art lots, or maybe you can just do like a grab bag, you know, it doesn't even matter if it's the same set, it's an option too. Let's see. Altar artists can use blanks because they have magic back. Oh, nice. True. I've been following Klug. Does anyone know that? Popped up on my Facebook. Not much of a Facebook person, but popped up one day, and his art is insane. Super, super good. I would love to get one of his at some point, but we'll see. I gotta get these a little bit closer to me. Okay, well, first box. I'll probably, I don't know. I also forgot a trash bag. I don't know. I'm not fully prepared for this. We'll roll with it. There might be little pauses here and there. Might need to get some water, you know. Usually don't talk for a couple hours on end. But what you gonna do? Master wall, okay. And sometimes what I'll do, which I might just do now, just show you everyone who's here early when I'm really trying to go through a lot instead of only going one by one. Sometimes I'll just kind of, you know, 1, 2, 3, you know, just really try to streamline one thing at a time. It becomes super repetitive, and if you saw the photo from my last video, I had like 4 friends help me. They love opening packs, and they're like, "Oh, can we come over and help you open?" I'm like, please come and help open, because this is a lot to do by yourself. That's how it goes. So anyway, let's see. Streamline TCG. Just want to drop a thanks for getting me into selling singles. Your videos have really inspired me. Thank you so much. I didn't even think I'd ever do like live content. It's kind of cool just to see people popping in. We have 25 people watching. That's sick. I didn't notice that it told me up in the top corner. That's very cool. I was watching Rob's the other day too. I just wanted to see kind of how other people did it. He was actually messing around with his audio. It looked like he did a home setup and was trying to chime in a little bit, but I didn't know what his problem was with one of the with some of the audio. So, Rob, if you for some reason watch this, hopefully you get that all figured out. I think your receiver is being pretty finicky. So, but thank you very much, Streamline. That's awesome to hear. I really appreciate that. So the reason I'm not, I just saw this one pop up. I'll go through the others, but the reason I'm not doing them with the card sorter off the bat is mainly because of what I said a little bit earlier. I still like, to an extent, going through them and separating them out, because it actually saves me a little bit of time down the line for dealing with the whole foil thing, because I've gone through several situations where it just doesn't get it right, and then my inventory gets messed up. And this is probably not the best way to be doing it, but also, since again this video is more Q&A style, I wanted to just, you know, what am I gonna do? Just have that run really loud in the background and sit here? I could, and that's probably, well, I'll move towards, but I guess the other thing I could do is just pull out any of the foils. But like, still, I know that this is what Rob does a bit with his fizz batch too, so I kind of just took that page out of his book just to avoid inventory issues to start. I'm hoping their foil detection gets a little bit better as time goes on, but as it stands right now, even if I'm running all non-foils and I forget to turn off the foil detection, it will just mark a ton of them as foiled. So that's a bit of a mess. So let's see. This might yeah, I know I do like throwing. I'm totally just jumping around on all of these comments, but I also just like throwing packs on the floor. Afterwards, it becomes an absolute mess, but you can kind of do the full swoop and worry about it later. So we're getting a little full on the commons, uncommons. I did preemptively make a storage box. So let's see down here. So throw the commons in. I'll just drop this down here. Make it a little easier to access, and keep it rolling. So thank you, William. I appreciate the kind words. Again, I feel like I'll say it 100 times throughout this video. It's just been absolutely awesome to see everyone interacting with both the videos and just enjoying the content and hearing about people's journeys for their selling. It is really cool because it's just a fun hobby, and I think it's just another way to interact with a hobby that maybe you can't play all the time. I actually play a lot. I play like 2 times a week at least, typically. But it's another way to interact with the hobby, consign to memory, one of the nicer uncommons. But I saw the artist at MagicCon. Kind of wanted him to sign it, but all the lines were crazy. A little Nadu. But yeah, it's a good way for people just to interact with the hobby and get your hands on cards, look through stuff. Like you just can't be obviously dipping your toes in your own inventory too much, or else. But maybe that's some people's goals as well. Is just make enough to cover the hobby. You know, like that's also totally doable. So whatever you're doing, keep with it, whatever extent. Let's see. This is going to be interesting because I usually need to get into like a real flow to move quick, and I'm just going to keep looking over at questions just so I have stuff to actually talk about. But let's see. Okay, I'm already okay. So we talked about the card sorter and why I'm not doing that right now. Do I quick list? I don't use quick list right now. I actually, okay, so something you guys will probably see in future videos. I'm just touching on quick list, not really the it's not really directly related. One thing. I love this art on Jet Medallion. That is so cool. I've wanted to just put it in one of my decks solely because of the art, but I don't know, it doesn't really fit into a lot of them. I'll set it aside just for fun. I just wanna I've been thinking about so I run my main deck is a Nekuzar deck, but like I have so much good wheel in there, and I have a lot of everything's pretty min-maxed, so I feel like putting in a medallion like for a 3-color commander just doesn't really make sense. Especially the only thing that could maybe help is in a pinch getting Peer into the Abyss out earlier. But what can you do? I don't know. Another Goyf. Okay. So okay, back to the questions. So quick list. I totally skipped over that. So I did set up TCGPlayer Pro. If you go into my comments, you'll see that I have that. I am not an advocate for it for most people. I think most people get it because of mass price. I am going to be utilizing other features through that. I actually don't really like mass price that much. I think it has screwed me a little bit on some of my listings already. So I continue to pause it, review, update my prices manually, like once a day. I'm going to try to do layers of parameters within quick list or mass price to see if it'll work, but you do not need it. You really don't need it. It's just that as the reason I'm doing pro is honestly because I want to be able to make more videos about all the different features within TCGPlayer, because people will always ask about different ones that they might feel suits them. And if I don't have any content on that or any videos, I don't know about it that well, then how can I really speak to any of it? So yeah, I'd like to get quick lists going. I'd like to do the scan and identify tool. I'd like to go over and sort of dive deeper into mass price, potentially give some nice pricing filters so people could just recreate those. There's not a lot of videos on them. So I think that would just be helpful in general for the selling community as people start to maybe do more with direct, more with TCG Pro. But again, if you only need it for mass price, don't bother. It's really not necessary. So that's my thing on quick list. Let's scroll down. What do I do with art cards? Have you looked into selling them also? Yes, I have, but also this is what I've been doing with them. Anyone in the Patreon has seen that in the evenings I've been putting some of these together. That one's Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Clearly the wall is still empty. Sorry, I'm looking down here, not up there. I want to make sure that I put together all the different sets first before I hang them up. So then I can figure out where things will go on the wall. Phyrexia has like 89 cards in it, so I'll probably need a bigger frame. Maybe that'll be like a piece on that wall, just larger. But I want to cover, first of all, I want to cover the wall with art cards. And then after that, maybe I'll sell some. Maybe I'll put some of these together for fun if people want them. I just like doing some of this stuff in the evenings. As you guys know, if you've been watching, I work a lot during the day, wake up early, work on different businesses all day. It stresses me out. It's really hectic and busy, and I like being able to come home and do something that does not require a lot of thought. And that is part of the reason why I really enjoy doing this in the evenings, because it gives me something to always be like working towards, but not, I don't need to be coming up with like grand plans for business every day. So it's kind of just a nice way to decompress. Oh, that's a box. Okay, well, let me just clear out some of the uncommons and commons just so we have a little bit more room. And again, I'm just putting them down here. If you guys didn't see, I put together a 5-row just because this will fill up. So I'll probably just do what I was doing before and just lay out a ton of piles and then just break them down. So let's see what else. Alex, it was great to run to you as well. It was really cool seeing people over at MagicCon. Just people walking up, saying hi, talking to everyone. It's such a cool community, such a strong community. I chatted with Josh, hometown TCG over there, really nice guy. We were talking about YouTube and just cards, playing. It's just like fun. You can walk up. Everyone's really laid back and just fun to talk to. So nice seeing you as well, Alex. And let's see, Dr. 06. Geez, I'm like really hunching over here. Not a great way. Maybe I'll move these cases, because then I could move this over here and bring my laptop closer. We'll see. Let me just read a question first. So, start my own TCG store to sell some of my cards because I just can't seem to take it to my LGS and get 50% for the cards, all because of your videos. Thank you for simplifying it. I'm glad that these are helpful. Again, like I said earlier, no matter what scale you're doing this at, whether you're trying to do what I'm doing here, or if you're just trying to sell cards and interact with the hobby in a different way, more power to you. I think it's cool that I always make the videos with the intention of trying to be as helpful to as many people as I can, and without it feeling like I'm alienating smaller sellers, bigger sellers, whatever it might be, because we're all doing this at a different scale. And, that's how it kind of goes in regard to selling. Not everyone wants to be crazy like me and sit here and go through. This is going to take forever, especially by myself. Good God, I have a friend who is so fast with this, and he's going to be helping me more in the future, which is great. So we'll be getting him in. He's hilarious. Maybe we'll get him on a video. Pops, you've been sick. If you're watching this, hello. His nickname Pops. But so let's see. Am I missing stuff? Oh, okay. No, we're good. Love the new branding. Thank you. Yeah, threw that up in the corner up here. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to simplify. I originally did like an AI generated thing so you could kind of see the different mana colors, but I figured it was a little bit too much going on. So, hey, Fernando, what's up? How's it going, man? Fernando's a good guy for all you guys, for all you out there in the hobby. Hit him up. Beta investments. What do you think about 2025 tax season for the threshold lowering to 600? So, like, what do you think will do to sellers in TCG, eBay, etc.? So I could talk about taxes all day long. Let me think before I just start absolutely rambling. This is a big part of my day-to-day. How does one, and no tax advice here, no professional financial advice. I am just sharing the classic disclaimer, right? I'm just sharing my opinion on the state of the tax season. So taxes for people over 600. It's been that way. At least in my other business, you've had to declare when you pay out more than 600 to subcontractors. I deal with a lot of subcontractors, thousands. So it's a pain in the butt in terms of having to give out 1099 reports. But in terms of getting a 1099 report already prepared for you from TCGPlayer, all it really does is make your taxes slightly more complicated. And hopefully you do it to an extent where you're making enough money to feel like you are able to justify a higher level tax service. For me, it just gets brought into my current accountant because he does much larger scale business accounting for me. So I throw this at him as well and say, I started doing this and here's all the documents. So this is why I've made a lot of videos talking about cost of goods sold and inventory management and all of that, because realistically, yes, it's a pain in the butt to watch over it all. And I don't watch over card by card by card, but you need to understand that if you're going to be doing this, you need to have a general idea of how all of that would work if you were ever told to go back and itemize things. How would you break down your cost of goods sold? How would you retroactively assign value? Um, I've slowly changed it as I've been scaling up. That would probably be a whole topic for another video, but we are, the tax thing it makes your taxes more complicated. Ooh, one thing, Wrath of the Skies. I have not seen this full art. That is pretty cool. Sorry, I keep looking down here. I just can't tell. The camera's kind of far away, but that is a cool art. Tax season. No one likes it. You're going to spend some money to taxes, no matter where you make money, whether it's from working a job or running your own business. The tax man's going to come after you. So what can you do? You try to minimize your taxes through whatever you operate, whatever expenses you have through operating your business. And at the end of the day, people say, well, it's not really worth it after taxes, right? It's like, well, I don't know. What scale are you doing at? And is it worth working a normal job and getting I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, in comparison, people think about getting a 1099 situation and saying, well, you got to take taxes out of that. It's like, yeah, well, all your pay is taxed. It's just that you don't really pay attention to it because it's already been taxed. So really, if you know what you're doing and you slowly get better with tax law, which I have learned a lot of over the last few years, learn how to minimize. So might take a few years for you to figure it all out, but the more you can minimize, the better. So, okay, that was a huge ramble about taxes. Did you delete 50K like a pro yet? Are you talking about in terms of, oh, wait, is that referencing a comment on one of my videos, or are you the guy that leaves all of those really annoying comments? If you are, honestly, I think it's kind of funny because you just, whoever that is keeps coming back and commenting, and at this point you just laugh at it. You're like, geez, well, hey, thanks for coming back and watching another video. I'm glad it can make you mad. So didn't delete it. No, we're working at it. So what's the tax on profit in the US? Corporate tax around 22%, but you also eat tax. Depends. It also just goes down based on how much your profit actually is. So the nice thing is, if you run multiple businesses and you run them all as single member LLCs, the loss, if it's a loss, or so say, for example, another business generates a loss on paper, that will then translate to the bottom line of your whole entire tax return, which then, if you make a solid profit on this business, that will offset it. And running different businesses, for example, asset heavy businesses, which is essentially what I do day to day, equipment gets depreciated 100% in the first year. So if you're buying a $200,000 piece of equipment, you can take that as a loss against your income, which means that if I was to make $200,000 from doing this, then they would net out and my income would be zero. So do with that what you may. Hopefully people don't use any of this as advice. I already said that earlier, but for anyone joining in, yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna move this stuff around a minute. I don't really like hunching over the whole time. How do I insure my collection and inventory? I spend way too much on insurance throughout my other businesses. So I call up my agent and say, I need insurance on all of this, and here's the stated values, and here's a list of all of my inventory. And he says, oh, okay, so you're insuring your collection? I'm like, no, I'm selling cards. Oh, really? My son's really into Pokemon. Not the same, but okay. So yes, I just go through an agent. You can just call an agent, ask them, what it'll take. It's not that expensive. It's really not that bad. Okay, sorry, yeah, I'm not, these aren't flowing. We got this. Okay, for mass price, I have 3 different schedules. One is for cards 25 cents to 1.99, 2 for 2 to 4.99, 3 is 5 to 9.99, and I like to set my own prices for higher cards. That is probably a solid move in terms of just pricing higher cards, because then based off of your overall inventory count, for example, I had like 100 hair apparents listed, and then something got messed up on mass price because I was trying it out, and it triggered it to drop by like $1 lower than what I had them at. It's still a much higher premium, but that's cool retro art. Still much higher premium than the standard like marketplace price. But because I had so many of them, I was selling them for $7 a card, because if someone wanted 30, I was the only guy with 30. So yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to be dialing that in a little bit more. Mass prices, I don't know. Again, you don't really need it if you're just in. You don't really need it if you're just on marketplace and you're not doing tons and tons of inventory updates. Watch my most recent video. It's really, really simple. You don't need to worry about that. So can you talk about how stamp/shipping works? Do most of your orders just have the equivalent of a single forever stamp? Do you drop them off in your mailbox, or do you go to the post office? Sure, no. Let me grab, I put a water bottle down somewhere. Oh, it's over here. Let me grab a little sip of water. I don't know how long we've been live, but it's already been 32 minutes. Oh my Lord. Okay, I was putting this bottle cap on, and I started saying, I was like, that's weird. This doesn't feel like it's tightening. I think it's stripped. What the heck? Let's see if I can get it to catch a thread. Nope. What the heck? Okay, well, I'm gonna grab a Polar seltzer out of the fridge instead. Need not sponsored by Polar, but they taste good, so need something going on here. Okay, we're done with taxes. Let's talk about shipping fees. Okay, so what do I do about shipping? My strategy has slightly changed given my focus on direct, but I will talk through what I was doing and what I'm doing now. So everyone knows I still use .com. $20 a month is quite annoying, but I like the way it prints out. I like the way it works for my shipping method. So I have stuck with it. I've also upped my shipping prices. Again, this was then versus now, but my shipping is now $2.99. I still get quite a few orders at that shipping rate. So I don't feel as bad about paying that monthly fee. And I also just don't get as many marketplace orders. But when I was operating solely on marketplace, what I was essentially doing is doing it all through stamps, and then I would fill it all here. There's a post office like not that far away, on the way to my regular office, and I would just swing in, drop. Oh, that's a basic land. Put that over there. Whoops. Swing in, drop it off. I don't leave it in the mailbox, and if there's boxes, personally, I like having them scanned if they're higher value, just because then at that point it has entered the USPS system. Pretty much it in terms of like, dropping stuff off. Did I miss part of that question? Because, oh man, where are we? Where are we at? Yeah, no, I go to the post office. Yeah, it's the equivalent of a forever stamp. You get about a 5-cent discount, I believe, through stamps.com. So that's not bad. One thing that I've started to do now that I have upped my shipping costs is I'm actually a little more liberal with the non-machinable fee. And the only reason I say that is because I never had that many problems with it. But now that I have such large direct RIs building up, I don't want to ever have to worry about something getting returned. And I now just, I'll add that extra ounce if we're over 10 cards, and I'll add the extra non-machinable if, oh geez, what did I do here? What did I do here? 1 second. Oh no, I'm just being a bozo, that's all I'm doing. Mythic pile was getting a little too tall, so I started thinking it was the rares. But so I'm a little bit more liberal with that, and I haven't had anything returned, which is good. A little bit more out of the pocket on shipping, but if they're willing to spend $2.99 to buy from me, I'm willing to spend a little bit extra to make sure it gets to them and doesn't get lost in the mail. But I think in the beginning, it obviously you kind of need to watch your dollars and cents as much as you can, and yeah, so there's that for now. Let me move down here because I feel like there'll be a quick backlog if I don't keep moving along. Speaking of inventory, don't you hate how TCGPlayer omits sales tax from sales on their export files? It's small since it only factors into their card processing, but it's just enough to annoy me. I don't like that TCGPlayer, just especially on direct, they don't give you as much data as they do with your marketplace orders. That's annoying to me because I work in Excel day to day, and I know people have wanted me to do like Excel tutorials, but let me just say, if you really want to learn Excel, there are YouTubers dedicated to making Excel tutorials, and they can explain it so much better and so much more succinct than I can. And then I'm not making like Excel tutorials, but anyway, I love being able to quickly manipulate data in tables and reorganizing it through filters and whatever. And, nothing super fancy, but it allows me to, as you've seen in my videos, compile everything. And oh, there we go. Okay, I've just like not even been paying attention to what we're pulling, but I don't know if this is what this is worth. I actually haven't seen it pop up. We've got special guest Grief. And can someone drop the price in on that? I don't know. And then we got an Ocelot Pride. Since I saw the special guests, I was about to just throw this Ocelot Pride in the pile. I almost just went right by it. So I think the double whammy is what made me stop there. Let me just grab some penny sleeves. I only see cards that are over $20, I think is what direct requires you to do. So I forget, 20 or 25. There's not that many of them, but they don't want them all sleeved. So, okay, Ocelot Pride, nice. Okay, I'm happy with that. And Grief. We're almost done with our second box here, actually. Let's see, did anyone comment? It's Grief. $3. Cool. Okay, not that. Can't even leave that. Let's leave it later. So yeah, anyway, I love being able to just manipulate the data and play around with it in Excel. And it's annoying that they really only give you, at most, you can do your pull list. They don't give you breakdowns through direct. So for the amount of data that they have on all of your sales, like they might as well just give you access to all of it. So that. My question is more directed to, oh wait, sorry. Do you think TCG sellers will freak out when they see one and just stop or totally get wrecked in taxes because no bookkeeping was kept? We'll go back to the taxes. I'll keep it short. Let's see. My question is more directed at, do you think TCG sellers will freak out when they see and just stop or totally get wrecked in taxes? You're not going to get like totally wrecked in taxes, right? I mean, there's an upper limit as to what you can get taxed on. And depending on your income bracket, that's what your tax rate will be. So, I mean, if people get scared off by taxes and that's what's going to Wooded Foothills and Emrakul, the world anew. Another decent little pull. If people are going to freak out about taxes and leave because they had to pay like a few $1,000s in taxes, then it's less competition. So I don't know. Let's each their own. I have paid disgusting tax bills, so I just do it when it comes around and listen to my accountant. So that's just my opinion on it. Fortunately, it's probably in business. We're profiting on anything, paying taxes on it. So again, if they freak out, part of it, unfortunately. You can do as much as you can to minimize them, but sometimes you can't. You might not have enough to do it in the first year. So, is mass price only for direct sellers? Level 4 since December. I just recently got my inventory over 10K. I have 150,000 more on the list. TC Genius, nice. You have a lot to go through there. As your inventory grows, It's more and more difficult to tweak my prices. How many Magic players does it take to untwist a lot of yeah. I don't know. I might need some clippers for this thing because that is just not going anywhere. So someone else come over with a hammer or something. Feel free. So mass price is just for pro sellers. I see that you did a little asterisk to correct that. Yes, it's only for pro sellers. Again, if you know Excel, it's no matter how big your inventory is, you export from live and then you just, oh wait, this is last pack of that box. Okay. You export from live and then you just apply your formula and then you sort by descending values. And then that just means you can look at certain like price thresholds and be like, okay, well, right here, I spot all of my cards around the $20 mark. Let me tweak those prices. Here are all the ones around that $3 threshold. Let me tweak those prices. Not everything's going to be automated. I think a lot of like people do want it to be as automated as possible, which is good. But if you're going to be giving up 2.5% and not utilizing any of the other features, just learn. I mean, not even Excel. I always say Excel because that's what I use, but you could learn how to use Google Sheets and do it really quick. So I'll move on from that. But scroll down. Love to see my sales per set from TCGPlayer. Having emailed to me and asked data seems outdated. Yeah, I know. Sales per set would actually be awesome. They really should do that because then you can at least see the sell-through on all your sets. I mean, you get an idea of it because as you pack RIs and as you pack orders, like, okay, well, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, I pull 1 or 2 cards from there every time I do a bundle of orders. Foundations, annihilated. So like you do kind of just notice it, but the more cards you have and the further back you go, obviously all that data would be great to keep. What you could do, which is what I've started to do a little bit, is keep all of my pull sheets and then just file it all into another pull sheet, and then you can just sort by that and utilize that. But you just need to be good about doing it as you do like RIs. You just really need to stay on top of your data, or else it's just like a lot of trying to recreate everything. Let's see. Okay, this is about $3. Oh man, an actual item. Drink. What's been the highest EV set you're looking for these days? Well, I mean, this is probably the highest EV set that I've been working on. I could pull up the data at my purchase price, but on average, it's in the low 2s. I've just slowly been accumulating it, and I've been enjoying doing kind of one at a time because it makes duplicates and adding back into your inventory easier. Is that the best strategy? No, but I have enough of every other set already listed that I can sort of reallocate my time to focusing set by set. If that question is a little bit more directed to like EV spreads or something like that, deals have been getting a little tougher, and to be honest, I haven't been actively watching every set. There was a good deal on Phyrexia. There have been some in-person deals that I've been doing, but realistically, I'm willing to attack any set that just turns profit at the bottom line. I mean, back when I bought Dominaria United, that was $7 a box. Like you're really just focusing more on the percentage return than anything at that point. Okay, I'm gonna line them up again. That's much easier. This isn't real box cracking. Your back needs to be far hunched over. I feel like it already is hunched. I keep trying to throw my shoulders back just to not feel. I don't know. I got this chair a while back. There. If you can go on Facebook Marketplace and people will like buy out old offices. So I bought all these Herman Miller chairs for like $150 a piece for the guys in my office as well as for myself. And like I do believe that this has given me like better posture, but when you're hunched over going through cards, it's a disaster. You know, that like top-down setup and the like Wubby yell on the camera, freak out. No, I don't know. I mean, I guess he makes his money through the live streams, but good lord, cracking $10,000 packs. I don't. I don't know. We'll stick with this for now for business. Let's see. Bite the bullet and up your Excel skills. What would you say threshold needed to take advantage of pro seller? It's tough. Pro seller, like most of the stuff is meant for stores, realistically. I'm doing it because I want to be able to report back and try all of the different tools that it offers so people can better understand them. I'll try not to make those super biased and me just kind of making fun of them. But in general, I feel like it's just for stores. That's my thought. I mean, you have quick list, scan and identify. That's the stuff you see when you go into a store and they're right in front of you going through your inventory. Otherwise, you can get a little setup with your phone and just do the scanning app. It probably has relatively similar. See, but this is the thing. This is why I want to try it. I was going to say it probably has relatively similar accuracy rates, but I don't actually know. So I don't want to say that and just jump to conclusions. So I will test this out, but I mean, a lot of it, I mean, it's about kiosks, right? You have a kiosk in your store, and then you're able to go through the inventory. People can buy it, order in store, and then go check out. It's more about like inventory management, where it'll keep certain minimum thresholds of inventory to ensure that in-store buyers are able to get cards that they want, and you're not just sold out because your direct orders are going crazy. So that's the thing with Pro is when you read through all of the features, it's very, very focused on stores. Again, what average person needs a kiosk? What person really needs that type of inventory management? In general, if you're doing it all online, then most of it can just be done by yourself. People are always looking for tools to make things easier, and sometimes I think that they just like the tools overcomplicate what is actually like a relatively simple process. That's always been my attitude. Another one of those sweet jet medallions. Really like those. Yeah, so I think people love to look towards tools to like fix all their problems, but sometimes it just makes it a bit more of a mess. Simplicity is key sometimes. My day-to-day work, I get so many sales calls of people trying to sell me software that will enhance the productivity of my office staff. And we have built such a comprehensive a set of Excel documents that like it just doesn't even make sense to spend thousands of dollars per month on software when that's essentially hiring another person in the office. Why would I do that? You know, I shut salespeople down so fast. I'm more of like not like an opportunist in that way at all. I just say like, no, I'm going to do it my own way. And like, I need to come to the conclusion that this is what makes sense. I don't need a salesperson telling me because I know my business better than they do. So treat it that way. You know your situation better than anyone else does. I'll give as much advice as I can, but obviously, you know how many cards you're selling. You know what you'll need. You know what your margins look like, and what you're willing to pay for. I mean, some people wouldn't do what I do in terms of what I'm willing to pay for off the bat, but you know, everyone has a different situation. Let's see. I've really enjoyed breaking commander precons. The predictability on EVs is really nice. It is. It's very nice, actually. I do enjoy precons. The thing I actually don't enjoy with them is just the oh, it's a little tedious, like going through them all to put every single card in order because the fizz bash go. Why am I putting them down on the? What am I doing? This is what I get for not paying attention. Okay, another Emrakul. Cool. I'm putting this stuff like down on the table instead of in the box. Okay. That's got me distracted over here. I do really like commander decks. I think it's the tough part with commander decks is obviously just jump on it the moment you see the opportunities because they disappear really fast. That gap closes super quickly because everyone talks about them. I know like Murders at Karlov Manor, I was buying those, and now all of a sudden I think Louis made a video about it. Ooh, wow, that's a full art Ulamog the Defiler. I have not pulled one of these yet. I always just get the regular one. Again, anyone have the price on that? I just don't want to be messing around on my computer too much. That's pretty sweet. I was drafting at MagicCon. We were doing an MH3, actually sealed. Or drafting, it would have taken too long. But we were doing sealed, and out of one box, we pulled 2 Ulamogs, and just for fun, we both threw them in our decks. We couldn't get them onto the table, but it was fun. It was fun to try to wreck the game. Okay, what am I doing here again? Gotta keep getting back on track. Okay, let me just zip through these, and then I'll open up some more while I check if there's other questions there, and if anyone's checking in on the price of that one. That Ulamog, full art Ulamog the Defiler. Maybe we're walking away with a little something special today. So one thing I really wanted to do as well today was actually kind of bring you through the whole process. And maybe what I'll do is, like, after I get a good chunk done here, I'll try to sort of take a step back and jump ahead in my process a little bit, because again, I want to bring you over to the fizz batch. I want to show you some of the sorting. That obviously takes some time. So what I could do is, how about I could finish another box. I could finish another like box. How long have we been live? Wow, it's already almost been an hour. Holy cow. Okay, yeah. How about let's finish these that I have piled up over here. What I will do is then we'll go over to the fizz batch. I will put through the mythics and rares, and just so you can get an idea of the sorting. Mine Horizons 3. So typically what I do is I do an initial sort that looks at the value of the cards to separate that out. So maybe I'll just show you all of it and do it on a small sample size, aka the rares and mythics, just so you kind of know what I'm working with there. I actually also wanted that water to be able to clean the fizz batch before I ran too many more cards through it, but yeah, I just cleaned it. It's good for a new stock, like 7,000 cards. Another Dismember. That's a very cool special. Special guests really just hits it with the art. Love the art on those. So, oh, there we go. Some windswept heath. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll go over to the fizz batch. We'll roll these cards through it, and then what I do is, after an initial value sort, I put anything below 10 cents just into the big 5-row box and save those for later. And then I sort alphabetically, and then I sit back down and do the alphabetical sort, like break it down between A and B. And because you're dealing with one set and a specific value, you see a lot of repeats. And then I just sort of organize by the art and then go through and integrate them into my inventory. So I would like to go through all of that, but we'll see. I mean, the whole point of this live stream is really to get through some of this stuff. I'm going a lot slower than I usually do, but oh, another Ulamog. Got the hot hand today. 51 market price on that full art. Another Ulamog. I don't know where he's at right now. Is he at 30? 30 to 40? No, Ocelot Pride's near 40. I think Ulamog might only be like high 20s. That's pretty solid. Okay, Mike M, feed the fizz, feed the fizz. We will feed the fizz. Okay, we only got a few more packs here. Let's try as hard as we can to double down, zip through them, and then let's just show you. I don't know, it's a little noisy, but again, I'm using AirPods, so I don't know if you've noticed. I'm just trying to make sure the audio isn't picking up everything, because if I was using the camera, it'd probably be a little bit of a mess. But let's just see if there's any questions in the meantime while I go through this. Watch your videos because you do that. You try the thing and stuff and report back. I'm 100% Pokemon and have found a lot of value in your content. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm glad that that's what I try to do as well. It's like, I obviously like Magic. It's what I focus on. I try to make the videos relatively interchangeable for other games. So hopefully anyone else who might be more of a Pokemon buff is able to find value in all the videos. So I'm glad that someone agrees with that. So only issues with pre-cons is that the discrepancy on Mox Alpha can be pretty crazy since there's a lot of sale competition with people doing the same thing. Some $9 cards on Mox Alpha are as low as 2 to 3. So Mox Alpha should be updating like twice a day with market price, but I do agree that sometimes the data gets a little misconstrued in terms of pricing. So it's like what I said in my last video. It's like really you get the best data by doing it yourself. Obviously, you need to do it at scale, but that's why when I go through stuff, I will track all the numbers, like what I did in that foundations video, and really see if it made sense for me. Because like some stuff will work, some stuff won't. You might have missed the boat by the time it comes in, and it's a cool necro bloom. I haven't seen that one, but it looks cool. I mean, I have seen it, but I feel like I haven't pulled it in forever. So yeah, the best data comes from your own data sets. But Mox Alpha is a great tool to be able to get a rough idea, but you'll never actually know until you do it. The way I look at pretty much anything. You just need conviction. Once you have that conviction, you execute and you see how it goes, because it might not always work out. Dismember, $7 market price. Thank you for checking on these prices for me so I don't have to be fumbling around with the computer too much right now. So we're doing okay on these first few boxes, I think. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Since I'm talking, I'm just watching the colors, watching the symbols just to see if we got our uncommons, commons, or rares. And I've stopped on the Ulamogs, but I mean, honestly, I might have missed some value here. Let's see. Sometimes you just get in a zone and you're not even paying much attention to it. It is always fun though. Let me look back over and see where we're at. We only got 4 more packs, and then we'll hit up the Fizz batch. Should I keep cards organized alphabetically instead of by set to keep TCGPlayer inventory organized? Set and then alphabetical within set. That is what you want to be doing. That has changed the game in terms of pull speeds, like for pulling RIs, especially as a direct seller. Even pulling normal orders, it is crazy. It's so much faster. So like all the foundations I did is alphabetical, but then I also, like I'm looking over at my inventory right now, I have it right in order of, Aether Drift, Innistrad Remastered, Duskmorn, Bloomborough, Outlaws, Karlov, Eldraine, March of the Machine. So you can just go left to right, work your way down, and go through the alphabet, and it makes it super easy in that regard to pull cards. Once I officially did that swap over, when I deleted my whole entire inventory, it made a huge difference. So we're throwing all the commons and uncommons down there, just so you know. So even some of the good ones that are high value are down there. You probably won't be seeing the final values today, but I will be making note of them just so I can report back to everybody what this all came out to, because clearly we're not going to make a whole lot of a huge dent in all of this today. Make as much of a dent as we can. Probably stay on for 2 to 3 hours or so and just grind away. Okay, we're on the last one. What I might need to do is throw up that little be right back sign and move some stuff around just to make sure that you guys can actually see what's going on. We're not going to run very many through, as you can see, but we'll just run a small pile first. And then what we could do is while we come back over here, this is what I typically do, is I'll then run through the commons and uncommons. So I have a back end I'll be running in the background. I just want to make sure that the audio, that's not like super loud for you guys, just blaring in your ears, because the thing is pretty loud, to be honest. So we have it. That's 3 boxes down. So many more to go. Look at this. Can you see this? You see that there's another set of cases back there? Yeah, there's a lot. Quick thing here. Anyone else, do you enter all your cards in manually, or do you use some type of scanning tool? Yeah, I use the Fizz batch that scans in all of my cards. So Whoever who said they like throwing them on the ground too? I won't look through it right now, but there's a massive pile on the ground. Very, very fun. Okay, so what I'm gonna do real quick is put on there's like a B-rate back thing, I believe. I can go through to, let's see, media assets. If I do B-rate back, can people still hear me while I'm talking? I'm curious. Can you guys still hear me? Let's see if anyone. Okay. Well, give me a quick second. What I'll do is I'll just try to take some stuff off of the table over there. I'll spin you around, make sure I don't have any sensitive documents sitting over there. I don't think so. And mainly just other people's addresses and whatnot. And I'll flip you around and show you the software and all that good stuff. Luckily, I got my new camera to hook up to my laptop as a webcam, which is pretty cool. So it'll make this a lot easier to show you everything. Let's see, one comment. Yes. Okay, so you'll still be able to hear me. If anyone still has questions, oh, what did you use before the fizz batch? Let me throw up, be right back, and I'll talk about that. Oh, there we go. So before the fizz batch, I was doing it all by hand. I was using the app, the TCGPlayer app, and I created a good like top-down setup where I was able to essentially just get everything lined up right. I'd do it all in one foul swoop, um, and then I would adjust the set after if there was any errors there, because it does run into some errors, unfortunately. But I mean, that's what some people have are these little boxes that you can actually throw the card into, and then it'll like keep it perfectly squared up with a white surrounding. I saw that. I thought that was pretty nice. That's something that I would definitely look into if you're rocking the TCGPlayer app, because if you're a level 4 seller, I mean, that is definitely the easiest and fastest way to get inventory uploaded. You just want to make sure that you're not, you know, uploading the wrong cards, because I have done that before as well. And yeah, it stinks. It always stinks having to reach out to people and say that you just either don't have it or it accidentally picked up the extended art, because it always, for some reason, says it is extended art. So, okay, but the lighting over here is going to be a little bit weird. I'll say that ahead of time. But the reason is that the way the sun is coming in the window, it is kind of glary, but you should be able to still get an idea. Let me see if I can move this camera before I bring it back. Okay. We're about to pop back in, so hopefully you've actually been able to hear me. I'll turn my laptop around here, and here we go. Look at that, guys. There's the fizz batch. I'll be coming over in just a second here. Um, let's see. I have one of the card slinger tools. You don't love it yet. Okay. Does it have a problem with like picking up the cards? I'm just curious. I haven't really used one. If it sounds like it's card slinging tools. Someone did recommend. They said, "Do you have or you should get a card slinger?" I don't really know what that is. I think that's a tool by. Oh, what's their name? Okay, one sec. It's gonna be. Oh, nice. Just the chest. Just the chest. Okay, let me see. Can I zoom out here? Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, it was a little zoomed in. See if I can bring this up a little bit. Okay. Well, do a little squat. Actually, I usually run this at a higher, because I have a standing desk here. I do this at a higher level. So if I bring this up and then bring the camera up, we'll be at a better vantage point. I was sitting over here the other day and never readjusted. So stay tuned. 1 second. We're getting height. Oh, did anyone hear that? That was a box of Warhammer minis. So that just fell down the stairs. Whatever. So what can you do? The table caught it. So let's see here. I'm just raising you guys up here. Okay, let's see. Oh man. Oh man, indeed. Dang. I just bought those. One of my buddies is trying to get me into Warhammer. He's really into it, and we picked up some minis for me to go through, and hopefully they're not broken. We'll see. I'll also turn the light around. We're essentially doing a full set change on air right now. Maybe I should have just done this. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm bumping into everything. Okay, that's the only thing. When this table gets a little high, it's not exactly super stable because this thing weighs a ton. So let me go through, make sure everything is hooked up real quick. Not something that I even fully checked before this. So sometimes it's a little finicky, the software. Um, yeah, it's just how it goes. Sometimes the way that it connects is it's all on a um, you're essentially connecting to one of the like a port within your network, and that's where you're accessing the machine. So sometimes it's a little bit slow or weird, especially if I haven't used it in a day, but then it'll kind of get into full swing. So sorry, I'm kind of facing this way, but what we have here is hopefully you can see some of it, but this is sort of your inventory within the fizz batch. And I don't utilize the your inventory part because I don't want to have to worry as much about watching my inventory in two separate locations. So instead, what I do is I skip adding it to my inventory. I export it as a CSV, and then I'm able to manipulate that, change what I want uploaded, what I don't want uploaded, and do it all right there. This is taking way longer than it usually does. Let me just see if I can sort of start from scratch because sometimes it seems like it sort of gets caught up in its own head. You know, it has a mind of its own. You can see, okay, yeah, see, like that went a lot faster. I don't know. It's finicky sometimes, I will say. I also don't have, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video or this stream, um, phenomenal network service out here. You can see I was trying to run the Ethernet cable earlier, but there's a problem right now between like the Ethernet that runs into this room. So anyway, here we have it with all of the different bin parameters. This is what I was talking about on my initial sift. I go for a value sift. I go right down through the sorting setup and I'll say, we are going to limit it by set. This obviously helps. It's not doable if you're like looking at collections or completely randomized bulk. But when you're doing box openings, it is obviously better so you don't get any incorrect cards. So Modern Horizons 3, we'll do Commander as well because a few of those popped up. And Modern Horizons 3 Commander. And we'll start with that, those two sets, foil assignment. Even if it's off, it still tries to auto assign foils. Don't ask me why. So we will just set it to all these cards be non-foil. And then I just have it set for the bin parameters of over 50 cents, 25 to 50 cents, and then like over 10 cents and less than 25 cents. And the reason I do that is because if we were putting through all of these boxes, I would want to know what cards to focus on, getting those uploaded first. Obviously, I'd start with some of the more expensive ones, be able to turn some of those over, and then focus towards like the 10 to 25 cent cards last. So typically that will be when I'm packing an RI or orders. I'll just be filling the hopper and just sending them through to figure to alphabetize all of them. So take the weight out and we will go get those cards. Let's see. Now, obviously, we have some high value ones that I'm not going to bother. Ocelot Pride and the two Ulamogs we pulled. I'll just leave those off to the side for now. I try not to put cards through more than they need to go through because, it'd stink if that $51 full art Ulamog had got a scratch on it. It's only scratched one card so far. Let's see, will this focus? This camera, I cannot like choose what it focuses on, it seems. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. But it's only damaged one card, and it was like a super cheap card, so it didn't really matter. So here is a small example. Let me know how the audio sounds. My laptop's over there, so I'm not even looking at the chat or comments or anything. So we feed them in. Sometimes you just got to make sure you have a little bit of a curve to your initial pile so it feeds in correctly. This hopper has like a rounded corner at the bottom. And see, that's a tiny amount. I'll bring over the commons and uncommons. I just want to do like an initial full go through of how I would usually do this. So again, we obviously know most of these are going to be high value cards. So there's almost no point of me doing the value sift, but just for the sake of the video, we will then run the fizz batch, and let's see if we have any, okay. Let me know how loud this is. You can hear it getting going here. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. The camera is plugged into my laptop, so I can't get you all the way up to it, but you can, let's see, can you see that? Darn, okay, I don't know. You can see over here, it dropping cards into the bins. So it runs down along the track and drops them into the bin based off of the parameters that we set. So this thing churns through cards. Let's see, what are people saying about the sound? Heartbreak. When does the rip and ship start? I don't know if I'm a rip and shipper. Hey Chase, what's up, man? How are you? TCG both things in the house. Learned a lot from you. See some videos come on out. I know. Let's see, just hear some clicking every now and then. Okay, well that's good. At least I'll walk a little bit closer so you guys can talk a little bit about it. But you can see we're already like halfway through that little pile that we threw in, and everything is obviously of higher value pretty much because we're looking at mythics and rares in Modern Horizons 3. So they will all go into here, and then what I will do is go back into the bin parameters and set this to do alphabetical grouped sorting. So it'll go A, B, C, D, E, F, and like S and P are individual because they have a lot of printings of cards starting with S and P. So I will go through, do that. It'll separate them out. And then at that point, I could create more parameters to then sort them by like A. When I say A, B, I mean like a braid is one card name, like a braid. And then it might just be like the word ace. I don't know. But so A, B, A, C, A, D. So you could create individual parameters for all of that. The thing is with the amount of volume I'm running through it right now, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because I could have this sifting through way more cards, and then I can just sit there, and since there, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of repeats within the commons and uncommon slot, which is really the bulk of the manual efforts here, you can just say, okay, well, there's probably like 5 cards that are of value that are commons within a certain set that we're attacking right now. So I just go through, sort them by art, and then I just integrate them into the inventory. It's actually really quick, and I think messing around with like running it through the machine 4 different times would be unnecessary given what I'm doing at the moment, although the functionality is important to have. If you hear that spinning, it's like trying to pull for a card. It means we're out. So it'll automatically shut down. It'll pause. It'll say refill the hopper. And then you do just that. So let's pull out some of the piles. You can see most of these went on through. And sometimes on the first few cards, there's like some dust buildup, which is why I wanted to bring the water up, but everything looks good. No issues on the cards here. Good. Yeah, just a little bit of dust on the very first one. It's like when it settles on there, a few of them you need to end up wiping off with the finger, and then you're good moving forward. But anyway, we've got all of our mythics and rares. We've got 25 cent ones. And then we've got some of the cheaper ones that are actually less than 10 cents. Roisin, my girl Roisin, she's not worth anything. You know Roisin. That place in your heart. You don't know it. So let's run these through one more time. Man, this nether goy got quite a bit of dust on the first pass. See, this is why I wanted to wash it down. It didn't damage the card at all. It's just, again, like as you go through them, you don't have any issues with them. It's just on this first card, you can't see it because I wiped it all off, but it'll leave like some dust residue sometimes where the wheels are. It's not even something you can really clean sometimes because it'll build up within the actual within the conveyor belt or however you want to word it. So, okay, so we've got the cards of value, which is all except Roisin. And we will now go through and this sort. First sort on value, I don't need the card data on, but while we're waiting for this to go through, I could let you know what we got out of those boxes. Might as well. So here we go to alphabetical grouped. So again, like I said, we have all of the different alphabetized combos based off of how often the letters pop up. And then we will, again, go by set. I always make sure I do this. I actually do it on purpose over and over again because a few times I accidentally forgot and then I had to completely restart because it was assigning cards incorrectly, and then that is a disaster. So Commander, Modern Horizons 3, fix that in there too. Foil assignment to non-foil. We'll do alphabetical grouped. We'll throw this back on and we'll run it through. So what I'll do in the meantime, what I just said is if I go to my sort history, you can see all these different sorts that I do. I can then just view all the cards and we can sort by the bins. And you can kind of see, it will give an overview of all the cards, the different values on them. But really, to get the full scope of the value, you need to export the list and check it from there. But you can sort by price. Let's see, go price high to low. What's our highest? Got 2 polluted deltas, 2 wooded foothills, 3 nethergoyfs, flooded strand, bloodstained mire, lava lands. Oh, that full art jet medallion is over $10. I didn't realize that. It is cool art. I keep vouching for it. So I'll export this and shoot it over to myself in an email real quick. Oh man. Let's see. Delete all this real quick. And scans. So I'm sort of in the way here. Send it over. And the thing is on this one, I've used up all of my Excel uses, so I don't really want to put it on this. I just use it on my laptop. So let's go back over here. What are people? Oh, okay, sweet. So yeah, just clicking every now and then. Is it still sounding okay? Is everyone? No, it's not bothering anyone when I'm standing near it. I'm going over here, and we will check. We'll check the value. I would like to bring my laptop over. There might be a way for me to. Here we go. I don't need to keep it plugged in the whole time. So let's pop over to my email, download this, and see what we got. Remember, we have like $115 on those 3 cards sitting on the table. Open with Excel, and I am currently rocking this and quantity, market price. Cumulative between those and this is about $600 in those cards. And again, that doesn't include any of the commons or uncommons or any of the foils, foil rares, or foil mythics. This is just purely testing this out so you guys can see on just non-foil mythics and rares. So that is on the market price though. So as you all know, I operate on direct flow with a percentage on top, about 2.5 to 5%, depending on how I'm feeling that day. So you can hear it, it's running out. And what I'm going to do is just copy these values over so we get an idea of what the direct values were. And on direct, we're looking at 541 plus those would be about, it added probably an extra $50 to $60 worth of value being on direct. Just the inherent premium and then what I mark them over premium as well. So let's minimize that. Go back to StreamYard. Okay, sweet. Sound is still fine. So you can see behind me now. I'll put my laptop back down. Let's get this out of the way. A lot of stuff going on. First stream ever. Just stuff everywhere. So let me take a sip of water real quick. I'm still just blabbing away. So behind me, you can see that we now have them sorted alphabetically. So what I would do in this case is I tend to, you know what, I'll just go through literally the whole set of motions. I'll bring over a sorting tray, and essentially on the table will be rotating piles of sorting trays that I need to integrate. And by the time I integrate it and clear out the sorting tray, I can then come back over and say, okay, well, we've got our ABs, CDs, EFs. So I'll just pull them all out. And then after they're alphabetically sorted, this is when I'll export the file, and that's the one I will use to upload all of these cards to TCGPlayer. So there we have it. Over here is the rejects bin. So if it doesn't recognize a card, foundations, for some reason, a lot of trouble. Sometimes you just have to run them through a couple times and they'll pick them up, but a little weird. So then I would have this, again, picture a lot more cards, commons, uncommons, filling this up. And I would go back down to the table and we would sit down over there. And then based on art, I would go, okay, well, Johnny, Ashling, Bloodstain Meyer, Amphibian Downpour, Bloodstain Meyer, so I just go right through it. Argent Dias, Obtruse Appropriation, and then those ones. So like these are the individual cards within A's for the mythics and rares. And then I just put them in alphabetical order, go through my inventory, and then it's very easy. So what I'll do, actually, oh man, this is a pain since I'm tethered to my laptop. See if I can get you off here real quick. So the reason I want to take you off, we're really going off the rails here, is because I can just show you the inventory real quick. So if we look down here, here would be, like, for example, some Modern Horizons 3 over here. Is everything backwards? And then, is everything backwards? It's super odd. So here's like Commander. Some of them I have not done the full breakdown on alphabetical. But for example, here you can see as we go through here, Foundation is obviously the best example. It's all backwards, sorry, but you get the idea. So right here, a braid, that was the example I used. These are all braids. And then you just go down, and as it fits alphabetically, you pretty much know that these are all A's, B's, C, D, E, and onward. So, and just keep going. So it's really easy to integrate it into the inventory, especially once you have copies of a lot of the cards you're already selling. For example, if I'm like, okay, well, we have more Heir Apparents. There we go. That is all Heir Apparents right there. So it's easy to add it right back in. And yeah, so that's the perk of having your inventory set up and organized nicely. Okay, 1 second. We're gonna bring you back over. Okay, sorry, I'm grabbing onto my camera weird. I'm definitely just blocking the camera. Okay, so here we are. We're back. So I'm gonna put you back up here. I'll probably go back over there to sort through some more. We can feed the fizz a little bit more real quick. What I'll do is, since it's not creating an annoying noise, I'll bring over the uncommons and commons, and we can rifle them right through, same way that we did. We only want to focus on the high value stuff to start, just to make sure we get the best stuff in the store first, and go from there. So let me clean these up because I was showing you my quick sorts there. And something like these ocelot prides and ulamogs, I might just add manually, you know. Sometimes just unnecessary to run very small portions of cards through the machine. But so yeah, that's what I do. Bring it over there, integrate it, and boom, we're done. So it's pretty quick. Realistically, it's pretty quick. So let me grab the commons and uncommons, and then I think while we're running that, we will turn back around and break through some more product because that was my goal today. So here we go. This is the stuff. Can you see me? Okay, we're good. Here's the uncommons. Get that weight off. We'll end this sort. Sometimes also, let's see if it does it. It'll like fail to fetch. I saw that before I clicked over earlier. And it'll just spin and spin and say it's loading your card data, and it never does. So then you click out of it, click end sort again. And you do that a couple times, and then all of a sudden it magically appears. Or you just refresh it, and it'll just say that it already put it into the card sort. So I don't know. Sometimes it's finicky. That's the only. Oh, see, there we go. Instantly, it just goes done sorting, and then it'll kind of reset. So their software is fine. I mean, there's only been a few times it hasn't worked, and then they can just sort of remote into it and fix it up for you. But let's throw in all these uncommons and commons. Give them a good tap. Make sure that they're sitting in there nice and steady. There we go. So you can load in a very solid amount of cards. I mean, so essentially within this chunk of video, this will be 3 boxes worth of non-foils that we're going to run through this. So you can see how this can speed up the process very, very quickly. So see how I can go through a lot of products that I don't even record because I just couldn't even explain all of it sometimes. I think I have like getting close to the 10,000 sale mark, and it's only been a few months. So it's only been, I had less than 1,000 at the start of the year, and 2.5 months, we're almost at 10,000. So, okay, so go back to the value sift, limit by set, Modern Horizons 3. Also, I don't mean I'm actually at 10,000. I'm definitely getting closer to it, though. I think I'm a little over 8, so not there. Anyone can correct me on that and check my store. Tell me, okay, what am I doing? Commander, Modern Horizons 3. I will get there within the month, I bet. Non-foil. Okay, so come on. See, sometimes this is what I mean. Their software is just a little funky. It's like not showing the parameters that we're even sorting with. A quick refresh does it, but then you got to sort by set again. Probably shouldn't have been so distracted while I was going through it. So Commander, Modern Horizons 3. Again, all these near mint, all non-foil, and we will let her run. So let her wheel up, do her thing, and I'll try to bring you a little bit closer before I set this to be right back, and we will start breaking through some more product. Oh boy, okay, we're off the. Okay, so here now we can get nice and close up. So we've got the wheels down here, pulling in card by card. It's a little dusty with all that card stock. So we'll just bring them right down. The weight to make sure you have that downward pressure. Push them through the scanner right in here. Run them right down the conveyor belt, as you can see what's going on. And then we follow them down to where it opens up and drops them in. So there we go. We got a couple of the higher value cards sitting up there. We'll flip card. And yeah, she's putting in the work. So, oh yeah, there's my laptop. We'll have an infinite loop of video there if I catch that. So yeah, we've got all the parameters down here, and we're feeding the fizz. I like that term. That's funny. Feed the fizz. So can pretty much just, I should just put this on a live stream all the time. It's constantly going. Okay, so I'm going to hit that be right back again. If anyone has any questions, I know when we were sitting down, we were rifling through some more questions, but obviously, I hope this has been helpful and you're learning a little something about my process. Here's my thermal printer for all my labels. Here's some rejects that I need to run through again. But yeah, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, any of my input, just feel free to keep throwing them in there. You've given me plenty to talk about thus far. So let's be right back. And again, if you ask me anything in the meantime, I can answer while we are setting back up over at the desk. So let's. Oh man, know what? I just remembered. I totally rearranged the height and everything on this camera and on this tripod. So we are going to be totally recreating the setup here. That will be interesting. This is why I didn't want to move around too much, but I feel like the fizz batch can kind of go on in the background, and then we can just bring it over a little bit later. I can bring over the cards from it all. I like to try to run as much through it as I can before I take stuff out of there, just, because it's annoying otherwise to keep doing it over and over again. So I think this ought to do it. I think we're pretty well set back up for lighting and everything. I'll sit down and we'll see. So let me just plug the laptop in to charge up. And there we go. Yeah, this looks pretty similar to what it was. Just rolling over a ton of packs, but that is the magic of the fizz batch, though. I didn't even realize I had that puller over there. I was just grabbing for it. I don't know. Sometimes seltzer water I never actually feel rehydrated from. But again, I can't open my water bottle, so what can we do? Let's get into some more product and chit chat, because that's what I'm here to do. I gotta get all this crap uploaded. So I have a lot I also still need to integrate. So it's gonna be a late day today, but this is what it takes, It's like my weekends, my evenings, my post-work is this. And it's fun. I enjoy it. Do it to whatever scale you see fit. So let me see if, let me just go back over to here, check the comments. I just joined the Discord today. Do you think I can get a template of the Excel sheet you use for mass pricing like the one in your pricing video? So that is actually not a template. That is what I download directly from TCGPlayer. So when you go into your inventory tab, if you can export all of your live inventory, and it will then let you see every single data point for each card that you have listed. You can then adjust the filters, and for example, say you just don't want all of it there. Anything that might be sold out and you have 0 left, then just filter those out, update the ones of cards you actually have, and then you can pretty much just go through and apply the formulas that I provided in that video to mass update your prices. And then you import the price updates to your staged inventory and you're good to go. So hopefully that helps. I think that's what you're asking. I don't have an actual template for pricing. It is just what I export from TCGPlayer. So otherwise I would provide it if I did have one, but that's the situation there. So let's just keep laying some of these out. And what are people up to? I haven't even asked. Are people listening to this and sorting cards? And what are you guys working on? That's the one thing is like, I'm not some big Rudy fanboy or anything, but the fact that he has like 1,000 videos, 2,000, how many thousands of videos where he just talks about like kind of nothing, kind of all the same, you know? It's just something to listen to. But like, yeah, sometimes I'll go to listen to audiobooks and podcasts, and I'm a huge proponent of audiobooks, but sometimes I think if you're doing something that requires a little too much attention, you're just going to miss some critical uh, parts of the story. So I like to make sure that if I'm doing that, it's typically when I'm driving and I can give my undivided attention, because I'm obviously not paying attention to the road. I'm paying attention to my audiobook. No, I'm joking. Pay attention to the road. Don't be a bad driver. Don't be that person that everyone hates and weaving all over the place. You're on your phone. And God, as I've gotten older, become such a grandpa. It's always super defensive on the road. Everyone's trying to hit you. That's what I believe. Everyone's trying to hit you. So let's see. Putting away newly listed inventory. Heck yeah, geez. How much do you have to put away? It's probably, considering the bulk king is in the room, it's probably not a small amount. So yeah, you really gotta stay after it, because whenever I mean, you know that. I'm just saying this in general for everybody. Is I've gotten into so many situations where I'm like, oh yeah, tomorrow morning I'll wake up bright and early and integrate all that into the inventory before I pack my RI, and then something comes up with normal work, and then all of a sudden I'm scrambling because I have cards that weren't integrated. So I've really tried to now only put live what has fully been integrated into the inventory, or else you can run into some situations, let's just say. Lord knows I have. I'm always missing a couple cards. Nothing ever gets in there completely perfect, but that's just the reality of it. A couple medallions popping up early right now. Oh, that's the junk cards. It's gonna be fun to clean up on the ground later. Prepping my PC and inventory for a move halfway across the country. Jeez. Not sure what prompted the move, but good luck on the move. That sounds like quite the endeavor. I hate moving. I have helped siblings move in cities, and there's no elevators. And I don't know. It's just so frustrating. The whole process. Just don't know where anything is. You're living out of boxes. If you're like me, you don't unpack immediately, so you're constantly searching for stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't had to do it much, luckily. Feel blessed that I haven't had to, but a lot of people have to, and it's annoying to say the least. I also wonder when my headphone's going to die. If all of a sudden no one can hear me, it's because my AirPod will have died, and I will flip it out with another one. At a certain point, I should probably just switch it up to get some more juice in there. 6 weeks out. Too bad. Just got a little bit of time. Discipline indeed, Chase. Discipline indeed. People don't realize how much discipline it takes. It's like any job, you know? Sometimes at a certain point, you're going to be like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. And then you'll get a 3,000 card RI kick in the nuts. And you'll say, whew, okay, we're staying up late tonight, and there's nothing I can do about it, or else I'm going to get kicked out of this program. So all I can really do is, if you want to break, jack up your prices, and whoever buys them, it's on them at that point, right? Yeah, I think my next RI, I'm not a huge fan of this new setup. I thought I was going to be a big fan of just doing it one day a week, but we did the preferred RI today, so it wasn't very big, just very high value. And then I've got like 3,000 plus cards that is going to generate on Wednesday. So I still have today, Monday and Tuesday of more sales. I'm doing did like 500 sales yesterday, 2 days ago. I forget. If anyone's in the Patreon, let me know when I sent that screenshot. I lose track of the days completely, so I also apologize if I ever like a day or two totally disappears before I reply to someone, because I'll look at a message and be like, oh, I'll get right back to that. And the next thing I know, 2 days has gone by. I do that to so many people, friends, family, everybody. It's just a lot going on day to day, and I wake up, it's Monday, I close my eyes, it's Friday. So that's kind of how it goes, though. Let's see. Sorting cards, need me a fizz bash. I know it is a game changer. I really don't. Again, the whole point of what I'm doing is not to ever make it feel like it's exactly how other people need to operate. Like I was doing everything by hand. It's just I have a plan. I have a long-term plan. I have future help coming. I have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, and there's only one way to do that, and that is through implementing assets that can help you improve your business operations. I've talked about this in some of my videos, but again, I talked about it even in this stream so far. It's like my day-to-day business is equipment heavy, so if I need to buy a $100,000 piece of equipment to improve the flow of work, then I'm going to have to do that because it's the only way to grow. Because you can only do so much. You get bottlenecked at just about every twist and turn of a business. So whether that be your accounting department or whether that be your I don't need to go into the details of my business, but like just the general office staffing, like how do you find things to help streamline everyone's operations so you can squeak out just a little bit more. It's not easy and it's expensive, unfortunately. But because I do that every day, I kind of that's the route I went, and I'm renting it. So if it doesn't work out and I don't like it after 3 months, that's why I'm also hitting it hard right now. Because if I'm like, you know what, this isn't worth it in terms of having a machine right now, maybe I'll revisit this. I don't think that'll be the case, to be completely honest, but in that event, nothing's tying me to it. So spend a little bit more, you can roll it into the equity towards the machine. They have a pretty good program with that. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that for now. Oh man, my box is over there. I gotta be able to dump all these cards into something. Gotta run over and grab that real quick. I will be right back. So we're about halfway through that common, uncommon value sift. There's a lot landing in that below 10-cent bin, but we've actually majority. Wow, there's a lot in that 10 to 25. That's the thing. I mean, MH3, you harvest value. I mean, I got really good buy-in prices on this stuff. So again, it's like the ship might have sailed on this set. A lot of people have been going after MH3, and obviously too many cards in the market will saturate it. That'll drive down prices, and luckily I'll just keep my prices to where I want them to be and sit on the inventory until things stabilize. But that's pretty much how it goes, including what people were talking about earlier with commander decks. Is you get this wave of people when a deal pops up, and then once that settles, that's actually kind of the time to tackle it again. I have a few piles of commander decks over there that I was originally going through, but I only did about half of them because a lot of people were going after Bloomborough, and I don't know if I mentioned it. I was doing MH3 commander decks as well. There were some good deals being run, so I ordered a lot of those. A lot of Karlov Manor commander decks too. So those are actually sitting in the other room. So I need to go through those. But yeah, so got a lot we gotta do there. Do you have any advice for someone small sourcing inventory other than obtaining collections through the community? So sourcing product, I talked about this with actually Fernando. If Fernando's still in here, what's up, man? We were just talking about inventory sourcing in general, and the way I kind of worded it, and it's not to sound like an ass in any way, shape, or form, but I think a lot of people kind of look for just like a buy it now sort of deal, and it's like that's how you do it. You just find it, you buy it, and you have good deals. But it requires a lot of outreach and effort in terms of having consistent inventory flow. So I've mentioned him in a few videos, but one of my what I would call an old buddy, I've chatted with him quite a few times. He is I spare all of you that have heard this before, but I'll talk about it anyway. He plays Arena Direct. He's really good. He's Pro Tour. He's in Worlds. He wins tons of boxes. So I linked up with him. Maybe you could find other top players. Maybe there's one in your community. Sometimes I feel like I shoot myself in the foot with some of these strategies telling people, but that is kind of the point. This is the community effort, and I'm working on other avenues of consistently sourcing products so I can try to help all of you guys with getting product too. So yes, that is in the works. That is in the works. I just don't want to get too far ahead of myself and make promises I cannot keep until I further understand where I stand with everything. That's one connection I made that has been a steady pipeline of product. I've worked with LGSs that are offloading certain sets. Cash deals are better deals in person. You're able to get discounts. It's running a business. I mean, that's the thing, right? So like, if I'm negotiating a deal or trying to win a new customer, how do I go about doing that in my other business? I need to do outreach. I need to talk to people. I need to learn as much as I can from others and see where certain aspects of that can fit into my own business model. And it's not going to be one size fits all for everyone because it depends on how much scale you're looking to buy. Maybe you work with your local LGS and there's a guy that's willing to throw in a few extra boxes and make a little bit off you, but it just depends on who you're talking to, where you're located, what the people around you are willing to do. Some people are not in the business of selling cards. For example, the guy who plays Arena, this is literally like an income for him where he can just sell all these boxes that he wins and pay off his entry fees and walk away with income. So he doesn't want to, fuss around about an extra $5-10 a box. He wants them gone. So if I can go and buy 40 boxes in one foul swoop, hand him $4 to $5 grand, he's happy with that. So it just depends on who you're talking with, what your community is like, who you can find. It's not easy by any means to get consistent product flow, but everyone's dealing with that right now. And I want to try to do what I can to help my community members get product because I don't know, it's just kind of the point, right? I mean, that's why I've been doing this channel. I enjoy working on this alongside people and talking about it and sharing what I'm working on next. And if I'm able to do something like all these other YouTubers, then like why not? I mean, right? It's more affordable product that you can get from different sources. I probably wouldn't have huge amounts of product flow, but if all of a sudden you're getting some from Rob and getting some from Louie and getting some from me and getting some from Rudy, you're like, boom, there you go. You got 4 cases. 4 cases a month. Sometimes it's just about diversification too. You can't get it all from one source. 3 of these I got from across the country. Someone wanted to liquidate them. Got them for like a little over $200 a box. So it's not. You can't replicate it sometimes, though. That's the problem, right? So that's why you need to always be looking for other sets, other deals. And at the end of the day, maybe you just start integrating other products to give yourself the best leg up. Maybe you do some collections and you do some bulk sifts and bulk sales. Chase, you can speak to that better than I can in terms of bulk, but there's, as he says, every card has value. Yes, that sticks in everyone's head. I know I didn't say that in one of my videos once and someone called me out for it, but I do believe it. It's just the ones I tend to focus on. It depends day to day. So yeah, that's that on product sourcing. I mean, obviously the more people that enter the market and the crazier it gets, the harder it'll be. And the people that won't stick with it will fade out, and that'll open up some potential product sourcing and all of that. So it's the ebbs and flows of the market. I deal with that again in my day-to-day business. It's like some weeks I have a lot of work. My phone's ringing off the hook. Other days it gets quiet because the ebbs and flows of the market. Not everyone, not always going to be steady constantly. So jump on what you can when you can. That's what I always say. You just got to be willing and ready to jump on deals, and sometimes it ends up being like too many deals are going on. Sometimes. Hasn't been the case recently, but a lot easier to spend money than it is to make it. Just remember that when you're buying a ton of product. Oh my God. Throat. Thank you, Gramps. Let's see. Anything else going on in the chat? Let's see what else is going on. You run space constraints with stacking or stocking low value cards. Take up the majority of box space. They totally do. So believe it or not, I actually have always maintained some people think I do have a wide inventory on the sets that I stock. Cards out of every single one of the recent sets, because that's mainly what I've been targeting, right? So in that case, I don't need a huge inventory, like hundreds of thousands of cards across every set in order to still make it all work. So realistically, the high value cards sit on my top shelf, and it's really hard to even keep that above like 4 or 5 rows. That's what I have on my top. I have probably 30 to 40,000 bulk cards sitting in boxes over there, more under here. It does become a space constraint thing. This thing off to the right. Oh, my camera's up there, but if you guys have seen in my other videos, Home Depot, $150. I think this is actually what Rob uses too. I saw in one of his recent warehouse videos. I was like, oh, I didn't know they had the same ones, but he uses these same Home Depot shelves, and then you just stack up your product, and you do need a space for it. It's tough if you're in like a really small apartment, and it can take up a lot of space. It's definitely a problem with the bulk, but I've been focusing on going through this product, and then I'm going to be making more videos on bulk sales. I'm not going to steal Chase's thunder there. He obviously can speak to it better than I, but I gotta try it. Gotta try it to upload some more of this, do some more. The nice thing though is as I go through all this, I'm gonna have so many cards to be able to do set runs of like better cards. I can do, red lots, blue lots, white lots, whatever it might be. So it will give me a lot of inventory for all of that, and I won't just make 5 of them, and then that'll be that. That'll be a fun one to make a video on for this batch as well. We got a Phyrexian Tower and a Kozilek. Kozilek's not really worth anything though, but still fun to see. See a nice Eldrazi pop up in Modern Horizons. So let's see what's going on down here. I'm just buying bulk from TCG or cheap in my community and try to make small profits. I'm still a proponent of that. So many people have followed up with my video from the very beginning where I was kind of breaking down like a way to start with $1,000 and how like I started, but then I obviously had other plans. It's really hard with YouTube. It's like the timeline of it all just don't make sense for some people. But when you have your videos stuff, you're like, okay, well, I see why this looks like it's moving really fast. But anyway, that's beside the point. I still think bulk collections and bulk buys from places that don't have machines that can sift it is a good move, because there is bound to be forgotten value. I have run into that within my own. I was going through, oh, it's over. Anyone hear that? So it has value sifted all of those cards from the original 3 boxes, and we're only 2 more boxes in. So you can see it's actually hard to keep up with the this batch sometimes. Although over there I have like still 30 boxes of Dominaria that I haven't pulled value out of yet. So there's other stuff I can load it up with. I just, for the sake of the video, I'm trying to I want to keep it all Modern Horizons 3. And for the sake of sorting this stuff later. Especially because I have to still do more work that is not just opening up boxes later on. So anyway, I still think that the bulk move is a good move for starting out, because you can go through it, you can put in the time and effort to find the extra value. I did make, like, Journey into Nyx was really good. I was selling a lot of Journey into Nyx out of my bulk. And, you know, got them for penny a card, penny a card. There were full like 5 rows that were probably more than 5,000 cards. So it was probably even less. So that's great. Wow, it's so quiet in here. Now if that thing stopped running, it's so quiet. Well, we'll see if we can get some more going through it. You use a price cutoff stocking or a card count. Example, no cards under 5 cents or 8 per low value card. So yeah, I right now I've been doing 10 cents. That's what I sit for on my on a fizz batch. So I could always go back and run through all of this again and pull up maybe if any card values have changed, anything's shifted around. I could then just look for anything that's above 5 cents. Slowly like strip more and more value out of the bulk. It's just I'm focusing on 10 cents right now. So yes, anything that is 10 cents or higher, I find still sells relatively well. I'm over, market price and over direct low price as well, as I have mentioned many a time. But if I really see too many cards piling up of one card, then sometimes I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll get a little bit closer to market just to clear some of the stock out and then sort of start from scratch. I don't really do that a ton, but like War Elves, right? That's a 20% card. I have it over market, but I have probably like 100 of them sitting over there. So maybe at a certain point, I'll just say, you know what, 2 cents a card would get me to be direct low or something instead of 10% on a 20-cent card is 2 cents higher. But because War Elves has a really good sell through, but there's a lot of people selling it. So the competition's high. So if I wanted to just say, you know what, let's get rid of all these War Elves, then maybe I'd just get closer to that. Maybe be like 1 cent higher. So if someone wanted to buy a big chunk of them, they could. But yeah, that's my thought on it. I don't really have a limit on the number of. I don't really have a limit on the number of cards of any single card. I'll just adjust accordingly when I see too many are piling up. On really low value cards, I just don't even upload them currently, just because again, I think I really want to find some more interesting ways to offload it. I've talked about that since literally the beginning, but just given where I can allocate my time, that can always be sold down the line, but to keep cash flow going and buying more and more, I need to focus on this to begin with. But once I have some more help, it'll be a lot easier. Have a space for current sales and space for overstock. Then come out, back stock, and restock my name. Wait a second. Look at that. I was thinking doing something like that. Have a space for current sales and space for overstock. Then come out, restock my. Yeah, no, that's what I do. That's a good way to do it. Separate it out. That's confusing otherwise. Totally different room even. And then when you want to go through and pull more, see, I'm doing it again where I'm not paying attention, just chucking stuff down onto the mat here instead of actually sorting it. And then when you want to restock, yeah, you can go through it. I organize, like, each box is its own set. So like over there, I have a Foundations box, a Karlov box, actually pretty much a full modernized box, a lot of Dominaria United, a lot of Marks of the Machine. So yeah, I do the same. I think as I sell through more and more of the higher end cards, if I really feel like stripping out some more value, I'll definitely run it through again for the 5 to 10 cent. 10 cent up, they tend to sell. It's a little bit better. Oh my God, more to drink here. Been talking nonstop. We're 2 hours, but we're working, so who cares? I appreciate you all hanging out. How many people are here? 36. Dang, that's more than I thought would be here right now. Appreciate y'all for listening. Oh, 38. Oh, just updated. Cheers to all of you. For anyone new here, this is not alcohol. This is polar seltzer. So, try them all. All that artificial flavor, I don't even know. All right. Sparkling water. Gets to drink more water. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Any health nut, let me know. Sparkling water, is that a bad move? Yeah, so I'll just keep cruising along here. Anyone who's just tuning in, let us know what you're working on. If you have any questions based on what we're doing here, I'm always fine to revisit topics because I imagine people come and go, especially on a stream. You know, this is my first time going live, so I haven't done this before. I don't know what the protocol is. I don't know if I should be doing crazy stuff on camera, keep everyone on the edge of their seat. But I'm a pretty low guy in general, but you know, sometimes you gotta up the energy level for the videos. As someone said, okay, Gramps. Oh, jeez, almost dropped him. Let's go through this pile. I don't even know what I've pulled out of this, to be honest. I've just been talking. And... oh, there's another one. Sweet full. Whoa, it's 2 sweet full art cards. I've not seen. I showed this one earlier. Full art Wrath of the Skies. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Just checking down on it. And then a full art foil Chthonian Nightmare. Never know how to really start saying that. But I haven't seen that full art on that one. That's pretty cool. Love the full art cards. They really just knock it out of the park. Good on them. Foundations has some incredible full art. The temptation to just pimp out my deck, swap out all the non-full arts, full art cards. I'll admit it. I did it. I did it. I had to. I was like, you know what? I threw like 30 boxes of foundations. I ought to enjoy a little bit of it. Hard though when you're constantly playing, you know, you don't want to really easy to look at all these really nice expensive islands and be like, oh, I could use that. Oh, I could use a whole run of these. Oh god, it's like my addiction to Eldreds too, you know. A lot of money sitting on the table. I think I have like 4 or 5 of them sitting around here somewhere. Your friend's house. Hello, friends. Hello. Thank you for joining in at the 2-hour mark. Still pushing away here. Again, any questions, let me know. Like a frog. That is a solid one. I kind of want to think what else I want to sort of just discuss, though, in terms of next steps. I mean, the big thing that everyone in my Patreon and Discord asks is, again, to figure out how I can sort product for everyone. Even with a store, I don't know how much product you can truly source right now because everyone and their brother wants to be buying TCGs. So if any of you out there watching have a store, what does that landscape look for you? Are you truly limited by the amount you spend? I've had, oh, there we go, full art Cameo. That is cool. See, again, they're really hitting it off with these full arts. Can you see that? I think everything's reversed. Nice. Very cool. But yeah, I've had a few people with stores and distribution apps reach out to me. Right now, it's one of those things where if it exists now, I should really follow up with some people. If any of you are the ones that have reached out to me, I will follow up. Just I have a lot I need to sort through right now based off of my other personal inventory pipelines. So I don't need it immediately. If anything, I'll just probably drown myself in too much product. Clearly, again, like what, we're not even one case through, and we've been here for, well, not one case through because we've been playing around with Fizz Batch, and oh, another Ulamog. How many of these do we have? Three Ulamogs. Cameo is definitely over $20 too. for the sake of the scanning. But yeah, I need to streamline all of the operations. And again, I'm having someone start to help me soon with order packing, and then that will probably help the pipeline. Yeah, see, that's what I said earlier. Your friend's house. I agree with you. You know, it's easy. I always say to everyone, it's always easier to buy than it is to sell, right? Because like easy to say like, this is a great deal. This is a great deal. Oh my God, another good deal. I gotta buy all these deals, you know? Next thing you know, you're out 10 grand of capital and you have all these boxes sitting around and you're like, oh, I gotta process all this stuff. I gotta make sure that I keep up to date on it, because you know, it's that problem that like if you don't have more capital to infuse when you need to, it'll make you miss on maybe better future deals. So you need to really just becomes money management at that point, knowing when to buy, when to hold off, and all that. So there's never anything, no perfect answer for that, but I mean realistically it's just you gotta be buying what you're able to actually process, or else like I've had people reach out to me in the time that I've been around saying like, hey, selling might be for me, it's not for me. I have all these boxes, and honestly sometimes I haven't even bought any of those that people reach out about. It might be a way to product too from people who don't want to sell anymore. But this box is beat up. Jeez, you see that? It's all crunched, because it's individually compared to the full cases. One more of the single ones. Then we're breaking into 4 cases. We're not doing this all night. I'll probably call it at like the 3 hour mark. I'd probably, whoa, what the heck? This one's packed totally different. Oh wait, or am I? No, what the heck? 1 second. Beat up box. That's odd. Those 2 packs. Those of you who open Modern Horizons 3, you know that yeah, this whole box. I wonder if it's packed this way. I don't know if they changed it on a print run, maybe. Usually it's commons first, but like on these ones, the tokens are leading up the front. Anyone know about that? Let me know. Man, okay, it's gonna throw me all off. Now I'm doing everything in reverse. Eesh. I don't like that. I don't like change. 1 second, I saw a message pop up. Let me just go through these ones, put them away, and then I'll answer your question. Old fanatical Ronis. Too familiar with cards at this point. Oh my god. It's getting a little too top heavy. I gotta put that away. Okay. So, question. Let's see. So first, Jason, with the amount of boxes you've opened in the last 3 months, I'm sure you have gotten a large amount of sales and all, but how do you know if this is actually making money given the large investment? Yes, so that's actually that's a very good question. That one will probably take some time to sort through in terms of answering it. But essentially, the way that I'm starting to uh, analyze all of my numbers is I'm looking at things now more in terms of like on a direct standpoint. So all of the cards that I do not put into my inventory are not included in they're assigned like a penny cost basis. So if I was to sell off bulk, that's how I would be calculating it. So with that being said, all of the cards that I am able to upload and scan through FizzBatch, I'm able to see the exact amount that TCG low is would get me. And I can calculate all the fees out of that as well. So as any business, you kind of need to start stuff like quarter over quarter, like really clear pictures on numbers. And that's something I haven't talked about a lot on the YouTube channel. But you know, if you the thing is if you're opening at a very large scale, you're not able to easily see how those numbers break down. I made a good video on if you're a marketplace seller, how you can, but as a direct seller, the way that they give you the data, it's a lot harder to actually see the full breakdown. So what I do right now is at the end of a month, I go through a full count of singles that I sold during that month through direct. And then I have my averaged out price points. And then that's based off of what has actually been put into the inventory. And just I'll already know at the current price points whether or not I will have like theoretically made money. For example, with foundations, my most recent video, I broke down all the numbers for you guys, and you saw what the hypothetical profit would have been on those boxes, about like $1,200 to $1,300, which does leave me with enough like confidence, wiggle room that like if it changes a little bit up or down based off a card value. It's not like we're hovering at a $100 one where it's like super tight. So I already kind of know if I made it out on top or not before the cards go live. But in terms of applying adjusting my inventory, I do it on a monthly basis where I'll go and adjust down my inventory values. I utilize QuickBooks, so I track all of my expenses, all of my inventory purchases. Obviously, a lot of inventory. That's why I allocate such a low price point to the stored bulk, because I don't want that to skew my inventory values, especially at a large scale. So again, it's tough because it's similar to what Rob said in one of his videos, where he's like, at a certain point, you drive yourself mad when you're tracking every single number. I still try to do it as close to a T as I can. But as with any business, you know, that's why businesses do quarterly earnings reports. It's because you don't really get a full scale and scope of how the business operated in the short term, 1 week by week. Even with my normal business, my day-to-day business, let's just say 1 week is slow and we do 50,000 in a week. And then the next week is a busy week and we do 80,000 in a week. Maybe I incorporate another part of the business and doing 150,000. So that's where you're looking at it and you're like, okay, I can't really get a good picture on like how this is all going to shake out until a month, 2, 3, something like for my normal businesses, I don't even think a quarter really does a good enough picture. Realistically, it's like 6 months and a year. So I look at the things in longer timelines, and you have to sort of be able to put in that long-term effort without sometimes fully knowing where you stand. You can have a very good idea of where you stand, but you'll never have the perfect picture of any business, because an insurance payment will randomly pop back up from your 6 payments per year. So that if you're making 6 payments per year and you're paying insurance for stuff, then 1 month looks really good, and then all of a sudden you get hit with an insurance payment, so the next month doesn't look as good. So I hope you all get what I'm getting at there. But I think that it should give a good idea of what my philosophy is towards business. I look at it on a longer time frame and at a larger scale. So that's not comfortable for a lot of people sometimes, but that's how it goes. I used to run an old YouTube channel. I'd sunk like 20, 30,000 into it and lost pretty much all of it before I realized that it just wasn't making sense. Numbers just didn't line up, didn't make sense, and I closed it down. So there's that. But that's business, trial and error, baby. That's all you can do. Had a lot of successes. I've had a lot of failures. So you lose some, you win some, and you hope you win more than you lose. So anyway, rambling. Where are we at? Basic algebra. Have you personally ordered any Tarkir Dragonstorm play boxes? I'm considering a case at $100 each, but I'm terrified of the lower pack amounts in terms of returns as well as ether drift performance. Yeah. So I haven't pre-ordered any of it yet, just because I don't think the price will probably change too much. So I'm just utilizing my capital on like current prospects. But I'm going to have exposure to every set. I kind of set that as a rule for myself, whether it works out or not. I want to make sure I have exposure and knowledge on every set to be the most informed I can be and as in touch with the market as I can be. Might be a losing set. I don't care. I'll figure it out another, or I just won't. I don't buy a lot when I pre-order stuff. I will say that. I don't like the uncertainty of too much money on the line when you don't know. But in terms of what I always pitch to everyone, wide inventory is the thing I always talk about. You can't have that if you don't have all the most recent sets, right? So like if you're like I mean, I'm not saying do it, not financial advice, but I like having at least a case of everything. So then I can see firsthand what the sell-through is looking like, whether or not it is popular, how the card if it works out really well and jumps, then I have exposure to it, and then I will figure out ways to go about acquiring more. But I think a lot of the people you find online kind of have a similar sentiment towards it. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, or you can get pretty burned. That being said, you need to have some eggs in a lot of baskets, a lot of different baskets. So I pretty much I made it a point to have every set from the last 3 years. So I don't have them all in my inventory yet. Again, like we were saying, we'll drown in product, but so far it's all been working out quite nicely. The bigger winners are just offsetting my overall like scale strategy. So I'm more interested in just seeing a path to larger scale. And you need to have inventory to do that. Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think the questions have gotten a little quiet. Hopefully that was some good insight into what I do, what I'm doing. If you have any questions on it, let me know. Working through this box. I still don't know why this one was backwards in terms of the way that it, oh, it's weird. Literally the first box I've ever seen like this. I used a catalog market-based accounting. Made a video on it. Check it out. Is your your YouTube name would be the same. Yeah, your friend's house co. I'll check that out. I always love seeing what other people are doing. I'm a real YouTube lurker, and no matter how big or small, like a channel or a person's operations, like people just have really good people have good insights and bits of advice. Will I listen to all of them? Not necessarily, but that's like anyone, right? I mean, like you just want to be able to learn from other people, and maybe someone's doing something better than you are. So it's always good to share and listen. The reverse box printed in Japan. That would be reverse order. Maybe. Made in Japan. Yep. Yeah. Spot on. You got it. Made in USA, made in Japan. So that was the reason. Nice catch. Nice catch. The Mad Hatter. Been around since day one, man. I really appreciate you checking back in. It's always fun seeing like some of the OG names back from like the get-go. Real on-star of it. It's been the most profitable set so far that I've opened. Realistically, it was live and die by it. Karlov Manor, baby. Karlov Manor. I just thought after I had done like my initial video, I got so much of it at such good prices before the market just like totally turned around on it. And like the EV has stayed super strong. I haven't touched it in a little while. I still have probably another 20 something boxes I could go through. Honestly, I think I just tired myself out on it. Overall aggregate total profit probably cut off, man. It's what started it all, and it treated me the best. But you know, it's just crazy to think how the market's changed in even like 6 months of making videos on it. You know, I mean, I think we were at a point where Karlov was going for less than $100 and everyone hated it because everyone absolutely ripped on that set last year. And now Karlov is selling off shelves, living at 120 something a box, just like your, well, actually, I'm not just like your Duskmorns or whatever, those are even higher, but you know what I mean. It's pretty impressive that that set has done such a huge rebound based off of the sentiment. You were around from the get-go, you know about the Karlov craze. I've talked about it too many times, but that's obviously why I keep this behind me. I got to pay homage to like my first real, like the really big move. Corner in markets on Karlov boxes, got them all out on the internet. It was pretty fun, just to like to feel like you had a little bit of a like not control over the market by any means, and the market's huge, but you just felt like, you know, I was like, you know what, this makes sense. I'm gonna go for it, and went for it. That we did. Still have more, and the EV has still held up. It's those lands. It's those lands. So Karlov's still my inventory too. The one thing I will say is the good cards sell quick. I still am always shipping out Karlov cards every single time I have a order, but some of the cards are slower movers. But most of them, the ones that mattered, like not the deviation on a box, but like card by card, you had like the spread and value. You know, there's really just some heavy hitters that carry majority of the value through those boxes, which is actually helpful because you just don't have to pack up as many to recuperate, and then the rest is profit. Yeah, OTJ has been rising. I don't know that I've talked about it with a few people. It has the largest standard deviation of box value of any of the recent sets. So that can be dangerous, especially if you're doing it in small settings. I trying to increase some OTJ exposure just because the the boxes, people weren't like jumping on them. They were a little sleepy for a bit, so I'd slowly started buying, and I just making sure that wasn't foil. But I want to have some large exposure to OTA. I don't think it's like a phenomenal set. There's just some like big winners. That's the problem. Like your standard deviation is like $50 a box, so you can just get like absolutely wrecked on boxes, and then you have some that just pay the bills. So if you're doing that, you want to make sure, geez, the lighting on some of these makes them not look like foils at all. You make sure you're doing it like it, I feel like at least 4 cases always gives me a pretty good idea of value. 4 or 5 cases, the more the better. But that's what I've found so far. Get pretty close to like Mox Alpha numbers. Marionette Apprentice. When OTJ goes on sale on Woot, use 2 accounts to double dip. With that Amazon card, 5% gets you down to 105 a box. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, Amazon, believe it or not, has actually been, people were ripping into me one time when I forget what video it was, but not ripping into me. A few people commented on it, and I even cared. But I was talking about like inventory that had come in. I had just had so many Amazon boxes, but they had one crazy deal, and that's when I bought a ton of March of the Machine and Wilds of Eldraine right before it got discontinued. So yeah, I got some good deals through Amazon. Amazon Woot just limits you to, like, you really can't get a huge spread, which is annoying, but 5% back is just massive. That's especially, like, I mean, Amazon, sometimes the box values are just, they make absolutely no sense. I was talking with patrons and linking them to MH3 when there was a really good sale going on, and then all of a sudden it jumped up like $30 a box, and it's probably because we all jumped on it, and then they were like, oh wait, we can make more money. The algorithm detects high sale velocity, turn up the price. So yeah, they don't last long, especially if a lot of people are jumping on them. I don't know if the Woot ones do or not. Actually, believe it or not, I don't. My Amazon card, wow. I don't know if I haven't bought off Woot too much because you can't buy too much at any given time. You can only get like 3 boxes. So it might not even be my Amazon card that's linked to it. I have to check back on that. But that Amazon business card, that's huge. Oh, a bit of a thick pile on the foils here now. Might need to bring those into the box next. Line these up, and then we got one more. Oh, so we've done a case, and then we slide those down. Know what I should do? Oh no, I don't know. I've got all these sample boosters for collectors. I was gonna open, but I'm gonna run them all because they're all foil. So it's like I need to wait until I'm actually doing some foil. Pile that up, block the background. Let's see. Okay. Oh wait, not yet. We got a few more. Oh yeah. Also, I forgot. Actually, I already forgot about this. I was gonna do I will stop at the 3-hour mark right around 6 o'clock, I think, because one, I want to probably stretch and move around a little bit, and then I also have a like chat room Q&A I still want to do with all the patrons. So any of you guys in here, let's say like 6:30. Give me a little bit of time to recoup mentally. Maybe I've answered your questions already. Maybe you just want to chat, and maybe no one will join. But I know you guys have been wanting to do that. The like kind of one-on-one chat room. We'll have to figure out like the whole like hand raising sort of situation. Maybe we can just have people type in. Is there voice chats? Are there separate chats attached to the voice chats? Because if so, then people can just ask the questions, and I'll say, "Hey, turn on your mic. Turn on your mic and start talking. Restay your questions in the classroom." I always wanted to be a teacher. Does that come off? Does that come off in the videos? Something I don't talk about a lot. I always wanted to be an adjunct professor in the future, because I studied, the best professors didn't have doctorates. No, they had masters because they had to, but they were business professionals, and that was like a workaround. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, you know what? It would be awesome. You get to a point, you don't need to worry about money. You come to class, you just rip into students who aren't paying attention, tell them why they're going to fail. I'm kidding, but one of my teachers used to do that, and it was really funny. And then really teach the ones that want to learn. Always wanted to do that. Originally, when I was in high school, I was a high school professor or teacher. I don't think I would ever want to do that now. I would stick with college, but that's down the line when I'm old and don't have to. I just want to keep myself busy. The way to do it. Pass along the knowledge to the next generation. Always fun. That's why I was always just very involved. I was like explaining my experiences. Oh wait, I'm gonna miss messages. 1 second. I wish it like put a little dot next to the new ones, so like when you hover over them, it'd go away. I'll have to look into that. I missed most recent loot sale. I ended up finding clues somewhere cheap. Boomborough is still nice, or is still since wait what? Wait, Bloomborough is still since day one been my earner. Oh really? Do you are you like do you still actively buy it and have a source to buy it, or do you just have a huge backlog of Bloomborough? Because Bloomborough is that one sells through really well too. The Bloomborough Commander decks, those cards are flying. Um, the actual Bloomborough cards I have in my inventory is very small. Bloomborough Commander, I have a ton because I went through so many of those boxes in the video I put up. I don't have a ton of Bloomborough in the backlog. I might have like two cases. I can't tell. It's like 2 layers. I think I might have 2 cases of Bloomborough over there. Not a ton, but stuff I should go through. Okay, last time is it 5:30? Yeah, we're good. This is like perfect time. I really wish I could have made a bigger dent. With all the talking, it's just slower. I'm not giving it attention. I'm going pack by pack. But the thing is, I still like separating it out. It's just I might start just creating piles. How about that for a future, maybe a video or a concept? And in the very beginning, someone was like, why don't you just use the card sorter? Why are you sorting it out by the maybe I'll just create some parameters to sort via set by I think the foils, that's the problem. The foils are the problem. Maybe what I can do, I'm just thinking about this now. This gives me time to think. Wait, are we back to normal? No, we're still backwards. Still got the made in Japan, don't we? Yep, made in Japan. Well, at least that's good peace of mind. I actually didn't realize that they flip it around based off of where it's made. Believe that. Can you believe that? I have not noticed that until now. I just have always gone with the flow. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, sure. I don't know. The cards are all there. So never asked the question. But okay, what was I just saying? Oh yeah, so run them through, and then just have a huge pile. I can just I can hand sift through and like dump out all the foils, and then if I just dump out all the foils, then I can just go by rarity, and then I'll run it through again for value. I'll probably start doing that, to be honest. I've thought about it, but usually, to be honest, when I do this, my friends come over and we hang out. Have some cold ones, have some cold seltzers, and crack boxes. It's fun. We got like 4 or 5 of us doing it, and just roll through them. I'm really grateful that they are so into it, but I don't want to ever take advantage of that labor. So I try not to mention it as an activity too often. But so with them, the boxes just become like a bit of a disaster unless I tell them to follow a pretty strict like sorting method. Foils mixed in everywhere, and I don't want to go through all of them. So that's the main reason I do it. But yeah, maybe I could just tell them that. Take a look. Also, when they're in it, we're hanging out. We like seeing what we actually pull. That's why usually we'll do it on sets that are newer that they haven't opened. Maybe I've opened a ton of them, but they haven't opened March of the Machine and want to check it out or try to find something for their deck, and then they just buy it. So let's see. What were we talking about? Bloomborough. I bought enough during pre-order. The most recent restock topped me off. Can you make booster packs with the fizz? I imagine you could, but there's only so many slots. I've thought about something similar, and maybe the Roca and others would be better for the amount of bays. So yes, you can make booster packs. It's something that I've talked about in a lot of videos as my plan of offloading a lot of bulk. I'm planning on I'm planning on doing it. I just want to get through a lot of the sealed product first, and again, bring in the majority of the funds. For example, with foundations, I could go through and say 100 foundations cards, no more than X amount of duplicates of common uncommons. I can set that parameter into one bin. And then once it does the first 100, say you have, white, blue, black, red, green, it would then go back and do it again. So, as it finishes, you'd need to be active. You need to probably be standing next to it. The bigger the sets, the better. If you're doing like truly boost attacks at 15 cards or something, it might be tough, because what you would need to do is go back to the machine, and after it completes that like 100 card set, pull it out, bag it, or we'll just put it off to the side. So then that the next time it finishes, it's another 100 cards. So it'll just keep going through. So until it's full. So that's really helpful. It's just you don't need as means, but you do need to be a little bit more attentive and watch the machine. So again, there's that. But I've enjoyed the Fizz batch a lot. I think the Roca will probably be in the future. Hey, another Tamio. Tamio, inquisitive student. Boy, not bad. Probably be in the future, without a doubt. I mean, everyone that I talk to that runs the combo says that is the move, and it's because it eliminates the step that I explained earlier, maybe for anyone who wasn't here earlier. Essentially, after I do my value sift and then my alphabetical sift, then manually sort by card duplicates and then integrate them into the inventory. So with the Roca, you can have the Fizz batch doing your value and maybe alphabetical sifts, and then you would then utilize all the Roca bins to truly go like A, B, A, C, A, D, A, E, So it's just a matter of time and how much money you want to dump into it. So I think the combo is the phenomenal setup, but obviously, personally, I'm still a big fan about the Fizz batch just because of the flexibility. I think, Nadu. Good old Nadu still sells. Yeah, the flexibility of the Fizz batch is really good. I mainly use it for those two functions, but I can do all kinds of stuff with it as things continue to develop. Okay. Get back into a groove here. Back into a groove. Dropping cards. Move too quick. Windswept Teeth. I'm building an Aragorn deck. I've been ordering cards from my patrons to build it out. And then I did a big order of yesterday. It's going to be really sick. Aragorn the Uniter. He is OP. Kalia of the Vast, my friend Craig. Craig, if you're watching this, dang Kalia, I didn't even get a creature on the board during our most recent game. Kalia just absolutely rocked us. He brought out Ancient Copper Dragon, and it was like just game over from there. He ramped up so fast. Power balance. He also always power balance for some reason. I don't get it. I think it's just a meme at this point. Let's see. So Swift Sword has emailed me. I have not followed up with them. I would like to touch base with them. As I mentioned before, I always get stuck in a little bit of way. Also, because I just got the Fizz batch, I really don't feel like talking to more people about more software that I need to pay for. But they emailed me, so maybe they'd want to do some sort of deal or something where I can test it out. I don't know. But if it's a good product, you can always add more to your arsenal. It's not like you got to be a one-trick pony and just rock the one. So maybe I'll try that out. How do you feel about those Rikosh card scanner auto feeders? I'm not going to lie, I'm not sure what that is. I can look it up. I'm not positive. neck deep in Aether Drift Command. I have command boxes over there too. I actually haven't even touched them yet. I think commander decks, I mean, this is based off of what I've sold, but also just based off of what I've seen over the, over the set. Is it always seems like when they first come out is when, obviously everyone's buying and selling it. It's like the water sort of mellows and you figure out which one is worth more and which one is going to be the heavy hitter. And it's nice to sell through them quick and early, but realistically, I feel like you always see the same pattern of commander decks where one or two creeps up, the other two creep down. And in the long run, it makes more sense to hold on to them and open them up later before a reprint. That's what I did with some Duskmorn early on. I kept some more off to the side, and like Valgavoth got quite up there. That's what happened with Bloomborough until the reprint. The reprint absolutely throttled the value. Quick question for you guys. I'm just curious. We've been on here for 2 hours and 40 minutes, but how is the video quality okay? Because I'm really surprised that sometimes I have odd connectivity issues. Like I was on Discord doing a video chat with someone out here, and the connection was awful. And now I have been live streaming for 3 hours, and I haven't had an issue. I mean, you guys are still here and you're still asking questions, so I imagine you're hearing everything. Oh, it is in and out? Ah, dang. That's too bad. Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on, I want to switch over to fiber. And while that's being done, I'm gonna have to check all my Ethernet ports and get a hardwired connection because stuff like when it stretches too far, you're really, I don't know, you're struggling sometimes. I'll get that set up. I just didn't want to I didn't want to keep pushing off the first live stream, you know? Kept saying I would do it, and then I just never could get the network fully figured out. I have a Wi-Fi repeater too. It's a bit rough, dang. Dang, that's too bad. No one's mentioned it, so I've just been kind of rolling with the thought that like I don't know, maybe everything's good, but it's good to know. I appreciate you guys. I imagine most people are just listening versus like actively watching anyway. But I'm glad. Thank you for the feedback. I will certainly act on that. I probably won't be doing this that often, but I don't want it to be an absolute just disaster either. Unwatchable. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but if it's unwatchable, apologies. Well, maybe the after it ends, the video that I was streaming through will upload it to higher quality, at least if anyone watches it after the fact. Wow, I'm surprised no one mentioned that earlier. You guys just being kind about it. I don't want to bring it, but it's kind of like when you have spinach in your teeth, you know? You kind of want someone to say something. I was thinking about relocating to make sure I had better connection for this, but whatever. We're at the end anyway. We got 15 more minutes. You guys are here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys always just for watching the videos in general and seeing me blab about this stuff, and it's fun. Always fun. I actually like this format. No, I think you can fix while live. Yeah, that's the other thing. I know. I'd have to just like dip out and connect to my other network and go somewhere else. So we're not doing that now. Too far in. The pile over here is crazy. All the packs. I'm gonna have to get my husky trash bags. stuff those full. A lot of junk. Oh, wait, what the heck was that? First time I looked over and actually blurred. I think that was the focus though. So I suppose as we go into the last pack for today, there are any last questions or concerns or recommendations you guys have? Feel free to throw them out there. If you don't, no worries either. Just if anyone popped in, I want them to know I'll be wrapping up after this, and going from there. Made a bit of a dent, a bit, not much. I'll probably do more of this tonight. Just go at a faster pace. I might try to do what I was just discussing in terms of pull out all the foils myself and then just sort by rarity first. So will I be going to MagicCon Vegas? I want to. I loved MagicCon so much. MagicCon Chicago was so fun. I think I played 15 games of Magic. It's crazy. That's cool art. Thought Not Seer. The owl blurry. You guys can't see it anyway, but that's cool. Yeah, MagicCon's really cool. I would love to go back. I don't know if I'll go for Vegas. I will definitely go to another one, mainly because I want to go with a few buddies, and I don't think they'd want to go a second time in the same year. And if that's the case, we'll probably make another trip out of it next year. Opinions on Final Fantasy and Universes Beyond sets at large. Yeah, that would be a good video. I told this. I was talking with Josh home TCG about this, where I'm like, I'm glad that I talk about selling cards, because like if I give a hot take on a set, everyone just like blows up at you. I'm like, I know Magic pretty well, but like giving cards like specific, power rankings and how I think it's going to fit into draft and sealed and all, like I'm just not as good with that. I love playing, but I don't know all the obviously I just don't know all the cards well enough to figure out like, oh, this would synergize perfectly with the commander deck. If you I run like very few commander decks and just pimp them out and make them really good. That's my style. I try to devote all my knowledge to one main thing. But anyway, okay, so that wasn't really about the sets. That was just more about why I try not to give my opinions on sets too often. But Final Fantasy is going to be huge. I mean, obviously, every YouTuber has said that. I was watching Louis' podcast, Sorting Cards. Just they pulled up like a data point that showed the amount of Final Fantasy copies sold all time. It was like tens of millions or hundreds of millions or something like that. The general hype was crazy. Collector boxes, tough. I don't even know how you navigate that right now, because I would love to have collector box exposure in every set as well, because that's what I've been doing. But I really just don't trust some of these prices. I think it's one of those things where the way I look at it and the way I talk about it to people is I look at something like a Modern Horizons 3. Based off of the price that I got it, I can sit here with a higher level of confidence knowing that I can walk away with some level of profit. Versus if you don't know how Final Fantasy is going to pan out, and you don't know how Tarkir is going to pan out, and you're just like holding the bag on a ton of new releases and they tank, then you've really set yourself up for failure, realistically. I mean, I think the nice thing has been as sets age and EVs stabilize, as a single seller, you want stability in the market. The volatility is crazy. I mean, even with secret layers that I've bought into, they're just all over the map, and it makes it like you have to hit the ground running really hard. You gotta get it, flip it, sell it, get it out the door, and I don't like that. I like being able to have time and watch the market, figure out what works, what doesn't, pricing strategy, if you got to turn over your product just to get to the next one, that's not a situation I want to be in. But anyway, Final Fantasy as a whole, I'm excited for. I think it's going to be fun. Universes Beyond, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Universes Beyond. I know friends that Universes Beyond what gotten them into it, and again, similar to like just take, it's like you can't ignore the fact that it's going to exist. Another cameo. I think I've gotten 5 of these. It's going to exist no matter what. So, knowing that, are you going to get butthurt about it, or are you going to say, okay, well, this presents new opportunities? It may be Magic a little bit more of a plug and play kind of game. You could have people come in and want to play Lord of the Rings, and then that gets them super excited about future products. Or maybe people get absolutely pigeonholed and they're like, well, all I really came here for was Spider-Man. Now all I want is Marvel. I don't know. The whole Spider-Man and Marvel mixing into Magic is like pretty weird, but I get it from like a market perspective. So those are my thoughts. I think they're all going to be hits. That's the reality. I think MagicCon opened my eyes to it. I said it in a video, but if you were sitting there and in one of the events, for example, like Game Nights Live, they were like, who's first time to MagicCon? And it's like everyone just throws their hand up. And it was like 3,000 people that have never been to a MagicCon. And they said it was their largest MagicCon yet, that they didn't even set up audio to get to the upper layers. So knowing that, you think, okay, well, there's a lot of people getting into Magic. Had a lot of friends get into Magic. I mean, realistically, it's like the more recent sets are what got me back into Magic, because I started playing Magic in like 2012 or 2013, but I totally faded out of it for a while. But then they started coming up with new, cooler sets and stuff that would catch your eye, and it brought people back into the game. At that point, it's more about like, people playing the game and seeing that the community is thriving, which I really like, because the community is super cool. And that's like that's one of the biggest parts of it to me. So, anyway, those are my thoughts. We made it through. We've got a lot sifted. Probably run all these through while I run away from the desk for a little bit and just sift all of these for value as well. Probably should have. What I do, one last note, is I'll do the value sift and set it all to the side. And sometimes I'll just wait a little bit and revisit them later. So like the value sift's the easy one. And then once you get rid of those, you don't really need to revisit them. It's just once they're alphabetically sorted, you can't really mix and match them anymore. So that's when you really got to make sure you're integrating right after. So anyway, we are almost at the 3-hour mark. We're down to 22 people. So yeah, people have faded off. Thank you all for watching. It was really cool doing this. It was fun just blabbing. Can't believe I've talked essentially nonstop for almost 3 hours. That's crazy, but we've touched on a lot of topics. And this is a cool format where you just kind of blab, and hopefully some people get value out of it. And if anyone wants to watch it in the future, then cool. There should be some good tidbits of information in here. But we've got our stack of rares. We've got our stacks of mythics. We're looking good. We got through some of it, not even close to all of it, but I'd say 7 boxes while talking the whole time. It's a solid dent, and I'll report back on how the new organization or new sifting strategy will work on some of these. So I'm just going to look one more time. UB. The SpongeBob memes are really funny. I'll add that. That'll be my parting note. I always loved SpongeBob. I even rewatched SpongeBob as an adult. So much stuff that would have gone, over kids' heads, and it's still funny. It's still finding the new SpongeBob. I have no idea, but like the original 3 seasons of SpongeBob, the late 90s, early 2000s, humor. So anyway, that's what I'm leaving it on. I'm definitely going to try to pick that one up. I think everyone is. This is the problem. People buy it. People buy it. So like we're kind of setting up our own demise. But thank you all so much for tuning in. It means a lot again, and can't wait to put out some more videos. A really cool update coming in probably the next video, maybe the video after. We'll see. I need to get a few things re-recorded because my headsets died. So my mics, like the little clip-on ones. So we'll get that sorted out, and then yeah, tune in. Thank you all so much again. We'll catch you next one, and have a great rest of your day. Happy sorting and happy selling. Have a good one, everyone, mixing it up right at the end. Okay, peace out. See ya. End stream.